violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car. I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comment section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. I'm Janquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
Dallas police hope someone can tell them the names of 4 men you're about to see responsible for shooting 2 people who survived the gunshots. The bullets fired from outside into a crowded apartment last month. Fox 4's Sean Rabb has this week's track down.
I'm with Detective Sherry Jeffrey from Dallas Assaults. We're at 3501 Ross and McCoy. Detective, what happened here last month?
It was a Saturday night, April 16th, at about 11 p.m. We had 4 suspects in 2 cars pull up to this location.
God dang. The burrito gremlins are on a roll, man. These burrito gremlins are on demon time.
Here's video. A black sedan and a silver grayish SUV drive up.
What do you know about your suspects?
Okay, so they're 4 Latin males, and they range in age from about mid-20s to mid-30s. They engaged in a verbal argument with the occupants of an apartment residence on the 4th floor.
They were having an argument outside somebody's door, like at their front door?
Yes, at their front door, and they started shooting. They fired several rounds into that apartment. There were 5 people inside that apartment at the time. 2 of them were struck.
They survived?
They did survive, yes.
Wow. So 5 people inside the apartment, 2 were struck. They almost would have had a mass shooting if they would have hit 2 more.
What do you need?
So I need their identities, any kind of contact information if anyone has of them, their social media, anything. Also, there may have been some people who, maybe people film cell phone videos. There's a lot of noise, from several rounds being fired into an apartment. If anyone could send me cell phone video they may have taken. One has a tattoo on his neck, and they have pretty distinctive clothing.
If you know them, when you see the video, will you know them?
I think that you will. The video is really good. It's
yeah, this is a very high quality video, y'all. You don't get video like this. You could probably superimpose this and get the license plate here. Their faces are obviously evident, so maybe they got some facial recognition software that they could use. Somebody on the internet could probably do that, honestly. But yeah, these dudes should get caught unless, if they're not citizens, then it's going to be a lot harder.
Very high quality, and they're very recognizable.
How can folks reach you, Sherry Jeffrey?
Okay, my number is 214-671-4737.
Email?
Or city email, sherry.jeffrey@dallascityhall.com.
Okay, help Detective Sherry Jeffrey solve the crime. Find these guys who opened fire into an apartment from the outside, April 16th, right here at 3501 Ross.
And you can watch past track-down stories and maybe help solve a crime. Go to Fox 4 YouTube page, youtube.com/Fox4.
Communities are on high alert after the deadly school shooting in Uvalde, and today an unloaded gun prompted a lockdown at a Clear Creek ISD high school.
We're told the student was arrested this morning. Sherman Chow joins us live from Clearbrook High School.
Sherman?
Yeah, especially tense times here at Clear Creek ISD after 2 students were arrested in the past week for incidents involving weapons. The latest was this morning at Clearbrook High School. Take a look at your screen. This is a 9th grader being...
Dang, what's going on? We got 9th graders bringing a strap to school. Sheesh.
Being arrested after another student reported that he had posted a threatening Snapchat video of himself with a weapon. Galveston County Sheriff's deputies took the suspect into custody, where he remains at last check. Officers secured the campus, and Clear Creek ISD alerted parents of the situation, and 15 minutes later, the things had been secured.
And the student did have an unloaded weapon in his possession. Based on that information, the campus went into a lockdown.
A lift, like a relief that they were okay and safe.
Right. And how is your son taking it all?
He was a little shocked.
About 100 parents met with the district last night after the Uvalde shooting because they were upset over a situation last Friday at Seabrook Intermediate. We're told that a former student there had reportedly threatened two current students via text. That suspect had also posted a picture of himself with weapons. He was also arrested. That 8th grader had been transferred out of Seabrook Intermediate a few weeks ago and was currently attending an alternative school. Back here at Clearbrook High School, parents took about 60 students back home off campus after that lockdown had been lifted this morning. It was a shortened day that was previously scheduled because of finals today. We are live here in Friendswood. Sherman Chow, KHOU 11 News.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Medgar Evers, and it's a very tranquil scene compared to just a couple hours ago where a drive-by shooting
just took place. Excuse me, I'm getting live updates as we speak. I've just been updated to the amount of casualties from this drive-by shooting, and I'm getting reports that 2 people were actually declared deceased and 27 others were shot and injured, but are in stable condition. And although we must pray for the families of the fallen, we must also praise God for the aim of the super gremlin. If you want to know more about the victims of this crime, make sure you add BGZM News 17 on Patreon at www.patreon.com/blackgenzmindset. Also, don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment on the video to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. For more hard-hitting news coverage from the community, by the community, I'm Janquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
And cut.
All right, dogs. Let's get the out of here for these niggas come back.
Whoa. Yo.
Whoa.
Ain't that nigga J?
Nah, that ain't me. That ain't me.
He just went live
That
with
ain't
that
me.
funky ass suit
that's
on.
that nigga.
That's not me.
Hey, get that nigga.
Janquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia. Pray for me.
Also this morning, so many families are still coming to terms with what happened there.
Angel Garza says he takes comfort in the fact that his stepdaughter, Amory, tried to call 911 as the gunman opened fire in her class, but he really doesn't have any hope that that's going to change anything.
I just want my baby home. I don't care. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about...
So this is crazy, man. Just wanted to, I mean, you got kids still bringing straps to school. And I hate to say it, but, you know, everybody's like, oh, well, we don't want the schools to be like prisons. But metal detectors, resource officers, you're going to have them on the campuses, bruh, to stop this type of stuff. Because these dudes are like straight up, okay, I know where are there not going to be any security. And that's where they're going, straight up.
And the love of a grandma is so special. Nelda Lugo says the loss of her granddaughter, Ellie Garcia, still does not feel real. The family learned late Tuesday night that Ellie is among the 19 children shot and killed at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde. She says Ellie was always happy, loved making TikToks, and was so excited to turn 10 in less than 2 weeks.
Abrazo. Siempre que llegaba, hi grandma, I love you.
And she wonders why her baby she's not alone. People in this tight-knit town are reeling with that same question.
And yes, I know everybody's asking why. Why did this happen now? It's crazy. They're saying the husband of the teacher that was killed in the school shooting has passed away from a heart attack. So definitely RIP to Guadalupe Garcia. This joint is crazy, bruh. Looks like they had a very close family. This situation obviously affected so many people. And I don't really know what motive this dude had other than trying to impress some like Instagram chicks or whatever, because he was DMing random chicks and tagging them in guns and stuff. Definitely blue pill incel type dude. This is the woman, the teacher who was killed. But I don't really have much for this one, guys. Honestly, the husband had a heart attack. He just couldn't live with the fact that, you know, his wife was gone, bruh. So, you know, and the shooter killed his grandma. It's just so much going on with this one. And I don't think he left a manifesto or any type of reason why he was going to do what he was going to do. They said he was bullied, which still doesn't give him a valid excuse to have done what he's done, because everybody faces some type of bullying and some type of, you know, people joking on you and whatnot. Okay, it happens. But, you know, I don't even know what to say, bruh. These burrito gremlins are on demon time.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's a Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video. So, guys, man, we have a lot going on here, man. We got a lot going on. What is going on? I'm just now seeing reports that the Uvalde Police Department took an hour to respond. Now, initially, we knew rather, that the Border Patrol was the one who ended up putting this burrito gremlin down, who did this mass shooting at Robb Elementary School. But now we're getting word that the police were already outside surrounding the building, and they bitch ass didn't want to go in. Let's call it how it is. They ass didn't want to go inside. They let this shit drag on for an hour. For an hour. They should have been the first motherfuckers to rush in there on some black ops shit. Like, as a police officer, this is what you should, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the free body. This is the free body. Okay? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Okay? Man. What the fuck? Like, Did they have a stand down order? Guys, what do y'all think, man? Guys, what do y'all think? But anyways, let's get into I got to get into some clerical things first. So all right, just to let you guys know what we on, how I'm trying to advance the channel. If you look there in the description box, you will see my links. You'll see my Instagram. You'll see my TikTok. You'll see my Facebook page where you can follow the BGZM News 17 Facebook page. And you can follow Jen Quavius on Facebook as well. Add him as a friend. You can also check out the Twitter, the Twitch rather, which we're streaming off of now. I'm also going to make another channel, a backup channel where I'm not going to give any commentary. It's just going to be the straight news clip straight through. But we've also got the Odyssey in the description box. We've got the what's it called? The BitChute. We got the Patreon. Obviously the Cash App, PayPal, and we've got merch, guys. We have merch. So we have our first t-shirts. It just has the BGZM News 17 logo. Unisex, meaning for males and females. So go and check that out. Go ahead and grab the merch. Okay. Go ahead and grab the merch. It's going to be lit, guys. It's going to be lit. So we're going to actually get into this video here of the parents who are trying to rush to get into the school while the police are following through with their stand down order. It's like they wanted, it's like I don't know. It's like somebody told them not to go in and breach the school. I have no fucking clue. But this seems, a lot of people were like, oh, this is sketchy, or a lot of people also said, oh, well, this is fake. This never happened. I'm not going to go as far as to say that, but it definitely seems orchestrated, maybe enabled at the least. Okay. So I'm going to play this video. I have to, I forgot my water, so I'm going to have to go grab my water real quick. So I'm going to play this video, and then once I come back, we're going to, I'm going to probably run it back and give some commentary. All right. So give me 1 second. Got the video queued up, and let's get it.
No te hagan la boda, güey. It's not helping matters. We're taking care of it. He ain't done yet. She done. It's not good. I should have changed that motherfucker like that. What the fuck you doing to him? ¿Qué me vas a disparar, güey?
All right, guys. So I know you've seen it. I'm going to run it back. Shit is fucked up, man. Shit is fucked up. It's almost like they wanted him to get as many kids as possible. They absolutely allowed it to happen. You got all that gear on, and not one person ran up in that bitch. You got all that gear on. Okay? This is crazy, man. This is crazy. Because there's so many things that you can say about this. It almost seems like they wanted this to happen. They're probably upset that he wasn't able to kill more kids within that hour, because I mean, shit, if you got an hour to, I mean, if that's your MO, you're that type of piece of shit that you're trying to get maximum casualties, and you go into the school, for one, shouldn't they have had the shot spotter when he shot his grandma and at least, you know, responded to that scene, had the block shut down or something? So he goes in there, he has an hour, and he only kills 19 kids, only. Like, he had to, a lot of that time, he had to be bullshitting. A lot of that time, he had to be, like, there's no way he was just sitting in there the whole time and like, I don't know, bruh. I don't know. But there's no way that he's just sitting in there the whole time and just not doing anything, right? I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Okay? I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Oh shit, man. All right. This is what we're gonna do. This will let's just play it. So you can see this dad, he's trying to go in and defend his family, as he should. Shout out to Mac Knight. He puts $1.99 on the super trap. He says, why don't you let people call in?
Oh, say less.
We might do a call in today. The reason why I don't let people call in is because a lot of times y'all niggas be on that bullshit, but and y'all don't hit the super trap enough. But you know, since he hit the super trap, we might do a call in today. I just got to get through a lot of information. Some episodes I can't let people call in because it's just so much information I got to get through. But look at this. The police are just sitting out there. That's bullshit. All them guns, all that armor. That's bullshit. And like in the movies, right? In the movies, there's like hostage situations where they're negotiating with the nigga and they're like going back and forth with him and all this kind of stuff. And in this situation, they're not even in communication with the guy. Once you hear the gunshots, you're supposed to go in. Because then he ain't up for negotiating. This isn't a hostage situation anymore. He's catching bodies. So he must have been doing a lot of lollygagging. He must have doing a lot of lollygagging throughout that hour. Because if he went in there to just, you know, excavate the place, if you will, he would have killed a lot more people. But the fact that they let this go on, okay, the fact that they let this go on for so long is crazy. Okay, it really is. I don't get it, man.
¿Qué pasó a disparar, güey?
Nah, bruh. Fuck that. I would have said, juke the hell out them to get in there with the strap. I would have came with the strap. Fuck that. That's crazy, bruh. They just let this nigga fucking do this shit, bruh. They let him do it. There ain't, to me, there's no explain. Oh, well, we had to see what the thing was going on. We were trying to analyze the situation in the, what the fuck, man? Hell nah. Border Patrol didn't do all that bullshit. Guy who pulled up on him and clapped him, he's a hero. He said, fuck all this waiting shit. We going in. We going in. What's the worst that could happen? And man, oh man, this shit wow, bruh. Let me see. All right, I was trying to see if they were gonna say something about this other joint here, but let me see if I can get another video. All right. I got this other video loaded up. Just give you a little bit more information on this story, guys. Shit, bruh. I'm gonna open the call lines in probably like 20-30 minutes once I get through this information.
Hi, Alex, Christine. Well, this small community, about 16,000 people here, they are in total shock after what now is the deadliest mass school shooting in Texas state history. Many of them have walked up to this police line behind me, bringing things like teddy bears, flowers, balloons to give to the officers as they continue their investigation.
It's just that never thought something like this would happen here.
People in Uvalde, Texas are seeking answers following yesterday's massacre at an elementary school. Nearly 24 innocent lives were lost, some as young as 8 years old.
To say the least, Uvalde has been shaken to its core. Families are broken apart. Hearts are forever shattered.
Authorities say the 18-year-old gunman legally purchased 2 AR-style rifles. One was found in the truck the suspect crashed outside the school. The other was found inside the building.
There was no meaningful forewarning of this crime.
Texas Department of Public Safety says once the shooter entered the school, he barricaded himself in a 4th grade classroom. That's when he started shooting the children and teachers inside. One of those victims was 44-year-old Eva Morales, a teacher. Her family remembering her as a hero.
She had laughter that was absolutely contagious, and she really treated everyone with so much light and love.
At a press conference today, gubernatorial candidate and former Congressman Beto O'Rourke lashed out at the Texas governor.
This is totally predictable with you. Sir, you're out of line.
And Texas Senator Ted Cruz was here in front of Robb Elementary earlier today. He said O'Rourke was peacocking, calling him a name that we cannot say on TV. Alex, Christine.
All right, so we know that Governor Abbott and also former President Trump were scheduled to appear at a big NRA convention over the weekend. Is that still happening?
Yeah, it is. It is going to continue in Houston, Texas, about 4.5 hours away. They did put out a statement saying they send their deepest sympathies to the victims and their families, saying they would redouble their commitment at this summit, this conference, to secure schools.
Oh man. So I mean, she said something about how Beto O'Rourke had stormed the press conference with Governor Abbott. So we'll play that. We'll play that as well, because they couldn't wait to jump on this politically, at least. Guys, I know people trying to defend the police, and to me, there's no reason why, if you already hear the shooting, fuck no, you got to go in. Ain't no talking after that. This man is shooting for hours in an elementary school. Bro, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Okay. That's just bullshit. So we're gonna get into Beto O'Rourke crashing the press conference. It was I think this was tasteless, man. I think it was tasteless. I think it was agenda-based, agenda-filled. Wrong place, wrong time. As if the governor could have stopped this. No, the police officers who reported to the scene and waited could have stopped it. Okay. It's getting spooky. It's getting spooky because remember when we looked at the DMs of Shorty, he was talking about airing it out. He texted her talking about I'm gonna air out at like 9 a.m. Okay. So let's get into it.
And at this time, I will pass the mic to Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sit down. You're out of line and an embarrassment.
Look, everybody wanted his ass to sit down. Everybody wanted his ass to sit down. Everybody wanted his ass to sit down. Like he come up there acting a damn fool. Like, dude, this is not the time.
Sit down and don't play this stuff.
Shooting is right now, and you are doing nothing.
No, he needs to get his ass out of here. This isn't the place to talk this over.
This is totally predictable. When you
Sir, you're out of line. Sir, you are out of line. Sir, you are out of line. Please leave this auditorium. I can't believe you're a sick son of a bitch that would come to a deal like this to make a political issue.
Facts. That's why I love the South, man. These motherfuckers, these country niggas, they speak their motherfucking mind, all right? country motherfuckers speak their mind, bruh. Like, we ain't gonna go tit for tat. We ain't gonna, bullshit. Nah. Can't believe you a sick son of a bitch. You know what I mean? This shit is crazy.
Please leave this auditorium. I can't believe you're a sick son of a bitch that would come to a deal like this to make a political issue.
Bitch ass.
It's on assholes like you. Why don't you get out of here?
Right. Don't let that go over your head. It's on assholes like you. It's on assholes like you. Okay? It's on assholes like you. And we already know what that means. The woke crowd. This is the woke crowd, bruh. This is on them niggas. Honestly, I'm putting it on them. Okay? There's questions of this guy's sexuality. They can't paint him in the picture of the white supremacist. And even when they had the shit, like they had the Buffalo shooting, and that story is already dead. Nobody's even talking about that shit no more. And it fit the narrative. It was everything that the left wanted, and they dropped the ball on that one. I guess this one came too quick in the news cycle. Okay. I don't know. But they dropped the ball on this shit, man. They dropped the ball on this shit. It's crazy, bro. Okay, so Oh man, it's a lot going on here, guys. It's a lot going on here. Let's see. Let's see if we can get into this video right here. All right. Okay, so yeah, I already covered the text message that what's his name sent. Salvador sent to the IG thought. Okay. So it's a lot going on. Matter of fact, let's check her Instagram right now. Let's check her Instagram right now because I want to see if she's speaking on the matter or what's going on here. Okay. And there were multiple people that he ended up texting, I believe. Multiple. All right, let's see. So she ain't posted on the story no more. But she gained 3,000 followers since we last saw her. Let's look at the comments. Okay, motherfuckers is simping in the comments. Yeah, so everybody is upset that she got clouded up. So this is the girl who he messaged. All right, just to run it back through you guys' memory. All right. And I'm gonna put a poll in the chat. So these are the messages that he sent her. Hey, you gonna repost the guns? She says what? Da da da. She says what your gun's gonna do with me, or what your gun's got to do with me. He said just wanted to tag you. She said I'm so confused. She said but why? He said I don't know. Be grateful I tagged you. She said nah, it's scary for real. How? I barely know you and you tagged me in pictures with some guns. I guess. Hey, hello. Then he said I'm about to. Then he says, I'm about to then text her before 11, text her in an hour. Then he says, I'm going to air out. And then that's the last message he sent. That was 9:16 a.m. And then other kids were responding. She put the pray for Uvalde. And people are in the comment section and they slick are giving her hell. Feds are going to look into your account. Let's see. You'll want to lock the comments, which she didn't. Honestly, girl, you need to just block these people. They don't have one brain cell combined. I saw on your story that you wish you didn't take a nap, so you could have perhaps stopped them. Don't blame yourself at all whatsoever. Dude roped you into this. Yeah, because he was DMing bitches talking about, oh, I'm going to make you famous. I'm going to make you famous. And, I mean, she didn't get famous. I mean, she got 18K followers, but that ain't shit, honestly. Don't feel guilty. There is no way you could have known. Ignore the haters. She didn't do anything wrong. He was fucked up in the head and tagged her. Everyone an armchair detective. RIP to those that died, but y'all got to chill on claiming shit. Hope you have a blessed day. He shot up a school, man, and he got you tagged on his highlights. Why are you tagged in that guy's post? He gonna get you in trouble. So everybody has obviously found out that you know, this is a shorty who he tagged. So he was doing a lot. There was another message that he sent to a girl talking about, oh, I'm gonna make you famous and all this bullshit. This motherfucker was fucked up in the head, obviously. Okay. It's fucked up in the head, obviously. But let's see. Let's what else did we have on this? Okay, yeah, here we go. Let me see. All right, so we're gonna go over the victims right quick, and then I will open up the phone lines or the StreamYard link. All right, so let's get into it. We're just gonna get briefed on a little bit more information before we start talking about theories and opinions and all this stuff. So
home without their children. Anything but good evening on what is really anything but a good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Tony DeCopel, in for Nora, who's recovering from COVID, and tonight we are here in Uvalde, Texas, a community shattered by one of the deadliest school shootings in American history. 21 victims, 19 of them innocent children. They ranged in age from 10 down to as young as 8. One victim described by family as the sweetest little boy I've ever known, so full of life. Others loved baseball, they loved swimming, loved dancing to TikTok videos. In other words, these are your everyday American kids, extraordinarily loved and now extraordinarily missed. Their parents tonight adjusting to a new reality, to lives that we all know will never quite be the same. And now this roughly 15,000 person, predominantly Latino community is also added to the list of places you know by heart: Columbine, Newtown, Parkland, places scarred by gun violence, their children murdered in their own classrooms. And of course, the question tonight, when will it stop? We have a lot of news to get to. We're going to begin with CBS's Janet Shamlian, who's here to start us off. Janet, good evening.
Tony, good evening to you. New details emerging tonight on how this massacre unfolded, and they are chilling. The gunman firing on a classroom full of fourth graders and their teachers. They had just been celebrating the end of the school year.
Damn. At the end of the school year, he went in there and aired out.
But suddenly they were trapped with nowhere to go.
Shout out to Glenn Rice for the $5 super trap. Hey guys, hit the PayPal, hit the super trap, hit the Cash App, man. Show your support. I've been covering. I was actually the first motherfucker on YouTube to cover this story and break the news that he actually was talking to this Instagram chick before he quote unquote aired out. So guys, make sure y'all support, because I'm really breaking this shit. Like, I'm breaking a couple stories. I've been breaking a couple stories, actually. Not a couple, but a lot. Okay, so, you know, show some love, show some support. This shit ain't easy.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hello?
Where you at?
Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
So shout out to Glenn Rice. He's definitely outside with the $5 super trap.
Massacre in a fourth grade classroom just 2 days before summer break. A gunman bursting into a fourth grade classroom at Robb Elementary School, opening fire with an AR-15 style rifle. An unimaginable toll. 19 children gunned down, along with 2 teachers. 17 others were hurt. They were kids. Among those who did not come home, Amory Jo Garza, who proudly displayed her honor roll certificate, and Annabelle Rodriguez, a straight-A student who loves school, and teachers Irma Garcia and Eva Morales, married to a Uvalde police officer.
These kids.
Hold on. So one of the women was married to a police officer. Okay.
Sir.
And they stayed back. They I don't know if it was a stand down. They surrounded the premises and he was in there for 40 minutes. How long did it take them to respond? Okay. How long did it take them to actually surround the school and then shit, who well, we know the border patrol officer actually ended it. But I'm asking in the poll, guys, do you blame the police for the amount of casualties in the Robb Elementary School shooting? All right. So I'm asking a question in the poll. I'm asking the question in the poll. All right, so let's get into it. All they can do. All right, guys. So I got the poll up. Make sure you vote on the poll. Shout out to Performa20 with the $20 super trap. Hey, appreciate that joint, boy. $20 super trap. He says, "What's up, Black Gen Z? Off topic, but I'm 100 pages deep in the Gosnell documents, and my mind has never been blown. Thanks for putting me on. It's a chilling read, and I can't believe how he treated those women." Yeah, man. And if you guys don't know Gosnell, that is the abortionist. That is the abortionist, Kermit Gosnell, okay, like the frog, Kermit Gosnell, the abortionist that he basically, I mean, shit. He might have the most bodies of an individual for children under 5 years old ever. Okay, he's probably one of the most prolific serial killers if you want to keep it a buck, because he was snapping babies' necks when they was coming out the womb. So that's Kermit Gosnell, guys. If you want to know more about Kermit Gosnell, make sure you go back to my expose on Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger. Kermit Gosnell, he was also endorsed by Hillary Clinton, so much so that she had a t-shirt talking about some free my nigga. It didn't say free my nigga, but it said free Kermit. And he was an abortionist in Philadelphia who pretty much killed like hundreds of kids. Okay. Hundreds of kids, man. During his abortion trial. And then he also killed some women too. On the operating table. So this motherfucker was a bad guy, and he believed in post-birth abortions. And I mean, from, if, like Proforma said, if you read the documents, for one, there's like a numbness that he had, and then there's also this fondness you can tell that he had for going through with these abortions. So this motherfucker was a sick guy. So for all you people out there who are pro-choice and all this other bullshit, think about that, because I know plenty of hoes who got abortions, and I'll tell you what, when you go into that abortion clinic, they're definitely pushing that shit on you. They're definitely trying to get that $400 bag. KV Kai says those cops are guilty AF. So she puts $4.99 on the super trap. She said them cops is guilty.
Oh, say less.
I feel you. So let's get into it.
Police officer.
These kids will never attend school again. To say the least, Uvalde has been shaken to its core.
In the aftermath, chaos and confusion as moms and dads raced to a reunion center. Far too many would go home without their children. Parents were asked to give DNA swabs to help identify the dead.
Guys, make sure you vote on the poll. And if you have a disagreement, if you don't think that the cops could have did more, then bruh. Once I drop that link, you have full reign to come up here. Don't be talking that bullshit in the chat. And then when I drop the link, you know where to be found. Okay? Don't be talking that bullshit in the chat. And then when I drop the link, you're nowhere to be found. So vote on the poll. We got 114 people watching. Vote on the poll. Okay? Vote on the poll. And then if you think that the cops did all that they could do, then we can talk about that. It is what it is. So let's get back into it.
To all the moms that lost their babies, I am so sorry. I cannot imagine what they're going through.
CBS News has learned the gunman, Salvador Ramos, had earlier fought with his grandmother over a cell phone bill and shot her in the face.
Woo! Got into it with his grandma over a cell phone bill. Okay. So I'm actually going to show another video because the police are trying to clarify the timeline. Because people are questioning what the fuck went down. Okay. And there's a lot of information. There's a lot of information on this shit. Let's see. So we got a Texas Ranger gives a timeline. Okay, so I want to give everybody all the information first, and then we'll make a decision.
Tonight, she's in critical condition. Governor Greg Abbott says the shooter posted on Facebook about 30 minutes before reaching the school.
The first post was, he said, "I'm going to shoot my grandmother." The second post was, "I shot my grandmother." The third post was, "I'm going to shoot an elementary school."
Damn. So a nigga could post, this is my thing. These motherfuckers could post all this shit. They can post all this shit. And no community guideline strikes. No copyright strikes. Like, bro. And they are on my channel's ass. Like, they're on my channel's ass on TikTok. They got me shadow banned. They got me on a restricted account. I can only post certain times of the day. And I ain't never posted no shit like that. Like, I'm about to shoot my grandmama. I shot my grandmama. And he was already posting guns and posting goofy shit, talking about kids be scared in real life on his TikTok, and they censoring my ass. And I ain't even did shit. I ain't even said shit. I don't even curse in my regular videos. The only time I curse is on the damn lives. Okay? This is some bullshit.
The 18-year-old left in his grandmother's truck, crashing into a ditch near the school. This video shows him entering a back door just before noon, going down hallways before barricading himself in a classroom. A Border Patrol agent from an elite SWAT unit shot and killed him a short time later.
So, this is what it sounds like to me. The police showed up. They surrounded the building. Border Patrol, they got in the SWAT team. And then they're like, okay, you go in. Boom. They sent him in and boom. It took long enough, though. It took long enough. I guess that's their protocol. You know?
This shooter is an evil person. You know, just to go into the school and have no regard for human life and just shoot innocent children inside that classroom, it's just unimaginable to put into words right now.
The gunman dropped out of school and had few friends, authorities say, legally purchasing 2 assault rifles and almost 400 rounds of ammunition early.
Woo! So he dropped out of school and he legally purchased the firearms. Oh, man. This is like a recipe for disaster. They're going to be eating this shit up. And I've seen things like Biden saying that the Second Amendment is an absolute and all this kind of stuff. They gonna be taking the straps real soon, bro. I'm sorry, but that's just I don't want it to happen like that. I really don't. But it sounds like to me that they finna take these straps. They finna take them. And ain't shit you can really do about it. Okay? They're finna disarm the citizens because it's a lot of motherfuckers out here who fucking the game up. Now, I'm not saying this is what I want. I'm just saying that it's just like they're just gonna keep bringing this shit up. Then, and this ain't finna be the last one. This ain't finna be the last one, bruh. It's not. Okay?
Earlier this month, Uvalde resident Maria Flores told us she knows the family.
I've been hearing that he was being bullied since he was a little boy.
So they're saying that he was being bullied. I've also heard that he filmed himself, being cruel to animals and all that stuff. And it looks like she's trying to empathize with him. See, this is like the grandma forgiving, like the old sister grandma forgiving the shooter. Well, he was bullied and I don't give a fuck. He ain't have no scratches on his face when he did this shit.
Bullied since he was a little boy, but we don't know really exactly why this thing happened.
Churches and community centers have opened their doors, but tonight, many of those prayers for the lives of children seem to have gone unanswered.
You never thought it was going to happen into your to your town. So heartbreaking.
And honestly, I would have never guessed that this would have happened in this city. For real. It's such a small city, man. But that just goes to show that these motherfuckers, these small town motherfuckers are crazy, bruh.
Janet, a lot of powerful reporting now on the how of this, but are we learning more also about the why?
So beyond the reported fight with his grandmother, they say he has no criminal history, no documented issues of mental illness, so they are still looking. The FBI spending considerable time at his home today.
And I think that will continue until they get to the bottom of it. Janet, thank you very much.
All right, guys, so let's get into the timeline. We're going to break this video down. And then I will let you guys come join the stream.
Stunning new information being revealed today about the Uvalde massacre. Police say that the shooting rampage started outside the elementary school, and it took 12 minutes for the killer to climb a fence and get inside through an unlocked door.
Wow. So it took him 12 minutes. All right. So we right there, 12 minutes to get inside. Shout out to Bogdanov with the $5 super trap. He says disarming the population suddenly will cause a CW and cause more long-term damage and loss of life. Yeah. And I wouldn't, man, I would hate that if they did some shit like that. I just say, man, amp up the police presence, put police or resource officers in every school, put the metal detectors in every entrance. Fuck all that extra shit. Make it look pretty. Make the metal detectors look pretty, right? So it doesn't feel like a prison, as they trying to say. But yeah, man, I mean, we had resource officers in my school, and they was cool as fuck. They was cool as hell. Like they'll arm wrestle with you, right? They'll play bloody knuckles with you. There was this police officer we used to play bloody knuckles with, and like everybody would try and beat him in bloody knuckles. Like you'll punch his knuckles because it was a rough middle school that we went to. So like niggas had to get their aggression out some way. So you go to a police officer, you play bloody knuckles, and you try and bust his knuckles. He'll try and bust your knuckles. And I remember there was only one kid who could even go like multiple rounds with him, with bloody knuckles. So I mean, they was really cool. Shout out to Officer Gabriel. He was a police officer at my middle school. So shout out to him. He was cool, man. And he was a man of the people. He was a glider police officer, but he was down with the culture. And he kept it real, bro. He kept it real and he kept it just. He broke up fights. He did his fucking job. Okay. He did his job. And if something like this would have happened in our school, I can guarantee Officer Gabriel would have been on that shit. Same with the officer in my high school, Officer Barnett. He would have been on that shit too. Shout out to KV Kai, $4.99 super trap. She says they allowed this to happen so they can destroy the 2A. And once/if that happens, we're all sitting ducks.
Oh, say less.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I do not disagree.
Shooter was inside the school for more than an hour before he was confronted and killed by a Border Patrol agent.
And we are now hearing from students who did not go to school on that terrible day. Local 10's Bridget Matter live now in Uvalde with the very latest on this investigation. Bridget.
She called.
Well, right now, police are looking at that response time. That is the biggest question here, is why did it take so long? That gunman on school premises for up to an hour, spending a lot of time in the classroom. The lead agency on this is the Texas Rangers. They say that the most gunfire that went off was earlier in the time of the shooting. Now, this is the scene that we are seeing here a few days after this happened. You see Texas public safety here.
Okay, so listen to what they said. So it took him 12 minutes to get into the school, and most of the gunshots happened earlier. So maybe he was just, he did what he did. He shot the kids. Then he had a standoff with police. He obviously shot 2 police officers. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out when he started shooting at the police.
A few days after this happened, You see Texas Public Safety here, FBI, ATF, all these agencies still on the ground here. The suspect did get in through an unlocked door. Many parents we talked to say not enough was done here. These two young boys attend Robb Elementary School. This fourth grader lost some of his friends.
They're one of the best friends that I ever had from all the schools that I've been to, and they're all nice to me and stuff.
The 11-year-old trying to make sense of why this happened.
I hope they got a good time in heaven, and I'm thankful that I wasn't there.
The two stayed home the day of the shooting, a decision that likely saved their lives. Following the deadly school mass shooting that killed 19 children and 2 teachers in Uvalde, there are questions over police response. This chaotic video shows parents pleading with law enforcement to go into the school.
Shout out to Michael Sims for the $5 super sticker. Shout out to Michael.
Oh, say less. We've learned the gunman, 18-year-old Salvador Ramos, was on school grounds for up to an hour. The Texas Rangers are the lead investigating agency. They gave a new timeline, revealing the suspect spent time walking outside the school.
What? Okay, they already said that. He only spent 12 minutes outside. So let's just say the overall response time from when he arrived at the school was, I've been seeing 40 minutes. I've been seeing an hour. So it took him 12 minutes to get inside the school. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, right? And cut that down. Now we got 28 minutes left. How long does it take to make that decision to go in and take this dude out? What type of vantage point did he have? Okay, that would be interesting to see. You know, still looking at the poll. It's kind of evening out. Guys, make sure you vote on the poll. The question is, do you blame the police for the amount of casualties in the Robb Elementary School shooting? The first answer is yes, their response time is sickening. And 2, they did all they can. Okay, so let me know what you guys think. Do y'all think that they took too long, or they did what they could do?
Why did he do this? Who is this man? The suspect. We're going to find out.
He had climbed a fence and began shooting at the school from the outside. We also learned there was no school resource officer on campus.
Local police departments, Uvalde Police Department, the Independent School District Police Department are inside, making entry. They hear gunfire, they take rounds, they move back, get cover.
Okay, so they go in, he start clapping, and they push back, which makes sense. Okay, got to make sure they know where the gunfire is coming from. That probably takes 20 minutes.
And during that time, they approach where the suspect is at.
But now questions loom over how long it took law enforcement to breach the classroom. The gunman was inside for up to an hour while police were rescuing children and teachers.
Wow. So it sounds like they were evacuating the rest of the school before taking them out. Look at all these kids, man. These are some cute kids, bruh. That shit fucked up. Woo! So he was in there for up to an hour while they're evacuating other kids. I don't know, bro. You got to go in there. Come on, bro. You got to go in there. I can't justify that shit. Really can't.
These are the faces of some of the 21 victims, many between the ages of 10 and 11 years old.
I thank God that my daughter was actually hard-headed this time and did not send my grandkids to school.
Well, Bridget, it was reported yesterday that the gunman was confronted by a school police resource officer before he entered that school. We understand that has changed.
Yes, that was a clarification that the Rangers made today, that there was no confrontation. Not only that, but there was an unlocked door to that school. That is how the gunman made entry. Here's more from the Rangers today.
That leaves me with another question. And I know I'm just asking questions. Who left the door unlocked? Who left the door unlocked? Could it have been a simple mistake, or does the janitor need to get fired? What the fuck is going on? Who left the door unlocked? It's a lot of questions. You got some splaining to do.
It was reported that a school district police officer confronted the suspect that was making entry. Not accurate. He walked in unobstructed initially. So from the grandmother's house to the bar ditch to the school, into the school, he was not confronted by anybody.
Damn, where the fuck y'all patrol cars at? I know it's a small city, but boom, grandma shot. You respond to that. You surround the area. Then shortly thereafter, you hear shooting at the school. I mean, if they're rushing to the scene of the grandma and he's going the opposite direction toward the school, and I don't know what route he traveled. I'm sure we'll get that. But there's a lot of questions, man.
Okay, another disturbing detail that was released today. In the time between the suspect crashing his truck, he actually was confronted by witnesses at a nearby funeral home and shot at them. There was a 12-minute gap between that crash and between him coming to this school.
Okay, so he crashed at the funeral home. Crashed out. Okay. Crashed out at the funeral home. Let's see. Sorry guys, I was just making sure I'm sending another video for you guys. He crashed out at the funeral home. Then he shoots at witnesses. I mean, I thought this was motherfucking Texas. I thought this was Tejas. Where the fuck are the citizens with the guns, bruh? Where are the citizens with the guns, man? I thought this was Texas. You ain't supposed to let nobody just clap at you without you having that thing on you. I mean, are the burritos really having straps like that, or are they chill on it? Do they, you know what I mean? Like, are they carrying like that? Are they taking advantage of the open carry laws? What's going on? Why didn't somebody take them out? Who left the damn door open? Does the janitor need to get fired?
And making entry through that unlocked door. For now, we're live in Uvalde, Texas. Bridget Matter, Local 10 News.
Golly, boy. I'll tell you what. This right here, different. All right. So let's see. We got another timeline video. Let's get into it.
Tonight, Texas police facing reporters from around the world trying to clarify the timeline of Tuesday's massacre, but their answers raising even more questions.
We're still grabbing a lot of information.
Authorities say the gunman crashed his grandmother's truck at 11:28 a.m. Witnesses report seeing him carrying a long...
Okay, so now we getting some actual times. So they said it took him 12 to 14 minutes to get to the school. So he crashed that bitch at 11:28 a.m. And why is this important? Because he texted Shorty. He texted Shorty on that same day at 9:16 a.m. Okay? And if you guys don't, so this is the timeline. This is the timeline. So he started at 9:16 a.m. talking about some I'ma air out. He started at 9:16 a.m. And I'll say between that time and that 11:28 time, that's when he shot his grandmother. So remember, he texts Shorty. He texts Shorty talking about he gonna air out at 9:16 a.m., shoots his grandmother, hops in the truck, drives to the funeral home, pulls up, crashes out at the funeral home at 11:28 a.m. Okay? Okay? So this is crucial, bruh. This is crucial.
This is reports seeing him carrying a long gun in a bag. He fired at 2 people outside of a funeral home across the street before heading to the elementary school. At 11:30, the first 911 call came in. This video shows the gunman dressed in black, long gun in hand, entering the school 10 minutes later at 11:40. Police say the doors appeared to be unlocked. As for whether or not anyone tried to stop him from entering, yesterday, Director of the Texas Department of Public Safety said this.
There was a brave Consolidated Independent School District resource officer that approached him, engaged him, and at that time, there was not gunfire was not exchanged.
But today,
so how this is what I'm trying to figure out. Why would you say that? If it never happened, if the resource officer never engaged him, because then it's like, well, what do you mean by he engaged him? Did he pull up on him? So that didn't actually happen. There was no resource officer at the school, they're saying. But this guy right here said the resource officer pulled up on him, tried to stop him before he actually shot the place up. So either he killed the resource officer or the resource officer let him go. Now the resource officer doesn't exist. This is crazy. And I know like initial reports and things can change in the process, but that seems like a very specific detail. Doesn't it? Or am I just like off? Doesn't that seem like a very specific detail that a resource officer approached him before he even clapped the place up? So then you would have to say, well, did he kill the resource officer? Did he kill the resource officer? Or did the resource officer open the damn door for him?
Entering yesterday, Director of the Texas Department of Public Safety said this.
There was a brave Consolidated Independent School District resource officer that approached him.
Or maybe the resource officer is lying. Maybe he was flexing, tried to get some clout up. And then they asked him, well, why didn't you kill him? So he's like, never mind. Just say I wasn't even there. Okay. Maybe the resource officer was trying to get his name up, trying to get his bag up, trying to get his clout up. Yeah, I approached that nigga. What'd you do? I let him go. The fuck? Yeah, I let him go. We just gonna take your name out of the report because that shit don't look good. I mean, he was out. He outarmed me. He had 2 rifles. All I had was a 9. Maybe that happened. Maybe the resource officer pulled up on him. He was outgunned, and Salvador said, "Hey, I'm not here for you. I'm here for these kids." And he said, "Fuck it. I'll open the damn door for you." Shout out to Kayla B with the $20 super trap. She says all school doors need to auto lock to the outside when shut. He knew which door to go to. Super Gremlin on demon mission.
Oh, say less.
Yeah, that's true. Except this was a burrito gremlin on demon time.
Engaged him, and at that time, there was not gunfire was not exchanged.
But today, the department telling me this.
Was there a school officer on campus? And was that school officer armed? Because that's what we've been told.
So at this time, no. There was not an officer readily available armed.
So he said there was not an officer. You got to listen to what these motherfuckers say. There was not an officer readily available armed. Listen how he threw that armed at the end. Because maybe the officer did respond. Maybe he did respond, but he was a Paul Blart looking ass nigga, and he was like, I can't really do shit about this. So he dipped, and they took his name out to protect him, you know, because people would be like, oh, he's the reason why they died, and then people could target him. That could be something. Okay? That could be something, but dude, this is getting real fishy. Y'all got some splaining to do.
So at this time, no. There was not an officer readily available armed. No.
Was there an officer?
No.
Why?
Nothing. I can't answer that yet. I'll circle back with you.
Woo! Sound like some cap. The reporter is on his ass. The reporter is on his ass, baby. The reporter is on his ass. He said, was there a resource officer? He said there was not an officer. He said, at this time, no. There was not an officer readily available. And then he paused. Then he said, armed. So to me, it sounds like there might have been a security guard or somebody confronted him and said, fuck this shit, I'm out. You know what I mean? That's what it sounds like to me. He said, nah, I'm not doing that. I'll come. Call me when it's over. Call me when it's over.
There's a 12-minute gap from when he crashes his truck to when he enters the school. 12 minutes. What happened in that 12 minutes?
You got to understand, 11:30 is the information we have at this point. We got a crash and a man with a gun. And then you have responding officers. That's the information we have right now.
4 minutes after the shooter entered, local police arrived.
That's it. God damn, this ain't looking good for the cops, bro. Guys, vote on the poll. We have 117 people in here. We got 92 votes so far. We had some people arguing in the chat saying, oh, well, you can't blame the police and this and look. Shout out to the SWAT team who took this motherfucker out. But the local police is looking shaky. It's looking shaky because he pulled up at 11:28 and then the officer said 11:30. He said we had notification at 11:30 that there was a crash and a man with a gun. No. That was at 11:28. You don't get those. Maybe I'm being too hard on them. I don't know. But those aren't times when you're talking about a timeline, every second counts. Every second counts. If it happened at 11:28, you don't just say 11:30. This nigga tried to round up the time. He tried to round the time up. Like, not 11:28, 11:30. Nah, bro. It was 11:28. And y'all arrived at 11:44. Okay? So it took you 16 minutes to respond, which it's a bad response time, but it's not something that I can't live with necessarily, especially when you're responding to a quote unquote crash and a man with a gun. You want to make sure you have backup. You want to make sure. So I can kind of live with that, a 16-minute response time, even though this was a small town with only 16,000 people. So is there really traffic in Uvalde, Texas? Not likely.
That's the information we have right now.
4 minutes after the shooter entered, local police arrived at 11:44.
Okay, so they pulled up after he entered the school. So he crashed out at 11:28, pulls up to the school at 11:40. Okay, so it took him 12 minutes to pull up to the school, which is what they said. And then it took the police officers 4 minutes to respond to that.
The shooter fired at them, so the officers retreated and called for reinforcements.
Oh, hell no. The shooter fired at them, so they ran away. I can understand taking cover. I can understand calling for backup. Hey, Roger, we got shots fired. All that bullshit, hiding behind cars and all this kind of shit. I get that. But then y'all let him sit for an hour? That's what I can't.
We need specialty equipment. We need body armor. We need precision riflemen, negotiators. They're also evacuating.
Negotiators? If he already killing hostages, ain't no fucking negotiator. The negotiations are done once you start killing hostages.
Waiting personnel, students, teachers.
A tactical team arrived at 12:47.
God. The tactical team arrived at an hour and 3 minutes after the police initially responded. So to me, either this is a lack of available viable resources. Is this a lack of resources? Is this due to the defund the police movement that it took them that long to get a tactical team? Maybe we can, put some credence on that, but still, man, the initial responding officers could have ended this right here, right now, baby. I don't give a fuck if you shooting at me. I'm gonna take cover, but then I'm gonna pull back up on your ass.
U.S. Border Patrol tactical teams arrive. They make entry, shoot and kill the suspect.
Police acknowledging the shooter was in the classroom for an hour before they were able to take him out. Woo! In that time, 19 children were shot and killed, along with 2 of their teachers.
Wow. So he killed 21 kids in an hour and 30 minutes. So we got 63 minutes. All right. We're going to do the quick math. Actually, it's pretty easy math. Okay. So he killed 3 kids a minute. Or not 3 kids, but 3 people a minute. Okay. He killed 3 people every minute. Because he was in there for 63 minutes. And he killed 21 people. Not including himself or his grandma. Shout out to Performa20 with the $5 super trap. He said, I don't think it was the tactical team that took him out. It was a Border Patrol agent. He actually had a heart attack today. R.I.P.
Oh, say less.
Right. The Border Patrol agent took him out. But was the Border Patrol guy the same guy who had the heart attack? I thought that was because I know one officer was the husband of a teacher who was killed. But was the Border Patrol officer the same guy who who had a heart attack, or were there multiple people who had a heart attack? Because I did report on the story of the teacher's husband who was left a widow who had a heart attack. Okay, so okay, they're saying the grandma is still alive. Oh, so he shot the grandma in the face and she's still alive. God damn.
Could anybody have gone there sooner? You gotta understand, small town.
Video taken after the shooting rampage shows loved ones being restrained outside the school, unable to get to the children, begging officers there to charge in.
Tom Yamas joining me now. First of all, thank you for pushing for those answers, important questions. Also, something else has changed here. We were told that everything was confined to one classroom. That's not the case?
No, we've just gotten some new information. Texas investigators are now telling NBC News the shooter targeted children in 4 different classrooms. I just got done speaking with some residents here in Uvalde. Lester, they're very upset. They're upset about what happened.
So he targeted people in 4 different classrooms. Let me just confirm that the grandmother. All right, let's see if the grandmother. My bad. Hold on. What the hell did I just press? All right, okay, so he said he's gonna shoot the grandmother. Grandma said she knew the shooter. Okay, so it was another woman. Oh wow. Okay, so his grandfather actually said that he didn't go to school last year, spent a lot of time alone in his room at his grandparents' house. Okay, didn't talk much. She's being treated. Okay, so Celia Gonzalez is his grandmother. And it looks like she's being treated. And then his mama, Adriana Reyes, told the Daily Mail that she was surprised her son went on this rampage. She says, "My son wasn't a violent person. I had a good relationship with him. He kept to himself. He didn't have many friends. He said the last time they spoke was Ramos' birthday when she gave him a card and a Snoopy stuffed animal. Are you fucking serious? I mean, I get that, you know, but what type of grown man is gonna want or even an older teen is gonna want a Snoopy stuffed animal? I would have just said, just give me the card and a $20 in it, bro. Fuck all the stuffed animal shit. But the mom's live-in boyfriend, god damn, the boyfriend old as hell. The boyfriend old enough to be the granddaddy. 62-year-old Juan Alvarez told NBC News that the teen had a turbulent relationship with Reyes and left her home after a fight over the Wi-Fi. So obviously his mama is trying to cover up. The boyfriend, the live-in boyfriend, the nigga that's fucking on his mama, was like, this nigga spazzed over Wi-Fi. He was kind of a weird one. I never got along with him. I never socialized with him. He doesn't talk to anybody. When you try to talk to him, he just sit there and walk away. God damn. Let's see. Grandson celebrated his 18th birthday on May 16th with a trip to Applebee's with his grandma, but they had no idea. He also celebrated by purchasing 2 AR-15 style rifles and 375 rounds of ammunition. Tuesday morning, Reyes said a neighbor alerted him that Ramos, who is unlicensed, had shot his grandmother and taken his grandmother's truck. Okay, so people are in his comments section. Well, they were in his comments section after the shooting, calling him the FAG word. So it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. They was, whew. This one is wild, y'all.
Happen here. They're upset with discrepancies with police. They're upset about this timeline. They just told me they're not sure who to believe now.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. Justice correspondent Pete Williams joins me now. And Pete, ever since the shooting at Columbine High School, police have typically sought to engage campus gunmen quickly to go to the threat, as we've heard. What happened here?
Well, Lester, one big question that has yet to be answered is how quickly Ramos fired the fatal shots inside the school. Some of the timelines that we've seen suggest that he did it shortly after he got inside. But even so, it is correct that police nationwide preach the importance of getting in and engaging as quickly as possible when there's an active shooter.
Yep. So you hear what they said, even from the police nationwide. They said you want to engage as quickly as possible.
Law enforcement officials say Ramos was shooting at the police through classroom walls with his high-powered rifle.
So he was shooting at police through the windows, I guess, or the walls. I mean, I don't know how you would aim if you're shooting through the walls, but maybe the windows.
It may be that because they couldn't see him, they couldn't shoot back. But Texas authorities said yesterday that Ramos was also shooting at people outside the school through the classroom windows. So that raises a question.
Yep. He was shooting people outside of school.
Did the police try to shoot at him through those same windows? Many police officers I've talked to are surprised at how long this took, Lester.
Okay, so this obviously is against normal police protocol, waiting for the SWAT team to come in after it's an active shooter. I could understand if you get a call like in the movies, like this is their response mimics a real hostage situation, right? Their response mimics the situation where it's like, the shooter just put in a bomb threat or a school shooting threat, lock the school down, surround the school, and the shooter's in there. He hasn't shot at anybody yet, and he's making demands. That's what their response kind of mimicked, right? What they should have done was once they heard the shots, all bets are off. Ain't no negotiating, ain't no motherfucking like talking them out of the situation. Now we're going in. That's how it's supposed to work. That's why the police across the country are shocked as to why they waited for so long. Okay? It's crazy. It's crazy. But anyways, since we got the timeline, guys, we have 130 people in here. We've got 113 votes on the poll. We got the timeline. The question was, do you blame the police for the amount of casualties in the Robb Elementary School shooting? 75% say yes, their response is sickening, and 25% say no, they did all they can do. So now I'm going to open up the StreamYard so that we can discuss this. And let me know what you guys think, man. Let me know what you guys think. Okay. Let me know what you guys think about the police, and if you think that there was a resource officer who let him in, or what the fuck happened, why they waited so long. You know, let's get into it. Let's get into it. And if you disagreed about the police thing, come up on here too. Don't be talking shit in the chat, and then you ain't gonna come up on this damn stream. Okay? Don't be talking that shit in the chat, and you ain't gonna come up on this damn stream. Okay? All right. So we got the yeah, people said my dog is licking his butt. Yeah, he does that all the freaking time. Hebe, say what's up. Oh, you don't have to get up, man. You ain't have to get up, buddy. Okay, so we got Dante up here. What's good, bro?
Not much, man. What's happening with you?
None much, bro. Just looking at this Uvalde shooting shit, bro. It's crazy. What you think about it? You think the police did all they could do, or you think they was bullshitting?
Bro, I think it's like, in my heart of hearts, man, it's just something to me about this is just so fishy. It just doesn't seem like you said, like you said, like it almost seems like they're mimicking like if it was a hostage negotiation.
Right.
And if it was that situation, cool. But it's not even close. Like you said, dude was shooting outside. He shot two. Like his name, he shot his grandmother before they you said the grandfather called the ambulance because he shot the grandmother. So they already knew he was active. He was already an active shooter.
Exactly.
On the way there. So
yeah, man, it looks like they enabled him to do this in some weird way. And then the initial reports with him being confronted by a resource officer, I don't know how you can fuck that up. Honestly.
Bro, he don't look that big, bro. Like you tell him you couldn't grab this motherfucker. Like
right.
You could if you would have like died tussling with the dude, I get that, bro. Like at least that would give the teachers time to lock the doors or something.
Yeah, and like, he did have a big ass gun, so I could see him like upping the shit at the resource officer and be like,
like, hey, nigga,
whatever.
I get paid $15 an hour, brother.
Yeah. I could see that happening. But just to be like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, oh, he was there, now he's not there. That's a little confusing.
Yeah, and then like, but then I saw this like report. It was like they were already about to have like a talk in Congress about gun laws like this week. It was already it was already on the dockets to be talked about. So I feel like it's like almost like with the way everything's just been going, like as far as like for the Democrats in the midterms was going on right now, shit. It almost feels like a political alley-oop on the backs of like kids, like and like we've never seen. I don't think I've ever seen a shooting like this, bro. Like
nah.
Like I've seen the James like it's been like kids like in elementary schools getting shots. Like that's happened before, but this just like, bro, this is a whole next level.
Right. Well, we got another person on the stream, Itty Bitty. What's good, Itty?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so I'm gonna just keep it short. I just want to approach this from a different perspective. I'm not bringing any politics into it. I think the crux of the issue is how we treat each other. As it keeps being repeated, the boy has been bullied. I'm not making excuses for him. What he did was totally inexcusable. But the thing that people continue to ignore is how much bullying is, how severe an issue it is. It really fucks people up in the head. And it's not something, some people are stronger than others, you know, And like I keep saying, what he did was not. It's unexcusable. You know, he went on some Anakin Skywalker Order 66, just taking out kids for no reason. You know,
Right.
and I think the reason why he chose kids is because it's that much more impactful. You know, you just mentioned earlier how people moved on from the Buffalo, New York shooting, which is like a little over a week ago. You know, those victims were they lived their lives. The youngest victim was a 32-year-old, you know, and their lives are very much important, but it's different when children are taken out. And this is going to be spoken just like Columbine, which was 23 years ago, back in 99.
Right.
The fact that kids were taken out, this is going to be spoken for decades to come. And as long as people continue to be disrespectful and evil to each other, this issue isn't going anywhere. Yeah, guns is part of the issue. I don't know how, unless you're like on some Japan type stuff. I know over in Japan, they have authorities. They visit your home, like they physically visit your home. If you have a hunting rifle, once you become too old to physically hunt, say like you're in your 60s, the authorities over in Japan will come and like relieve you of your weapon. You know,
What?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Research gun laws in Japan. The only reason why I know that is because I was doing some research a few years ago. But in any case, I don't see how. And I'm calling from Chicago. I don't live in Chicago anymore. But I'm in the outskirts. But in any case, when I used to live in Chicago, I did see police officers dropping off random bags. I don't know what was in the bag, but they do drop off, weapons in the neighborhoods, and that's where, the hood boogers, get their weapons sometimes.
Are you sure they were police officers though who was doing that?
You know what? I don't know. I'm just making assumptions. I'm making assumptions. But
I grew up in Virginia, like in Richmond, and I've heard stories of such like that too, like from like old heads back home. Like,
I've heard stories, but
I've never actually seen it, but
niggas be fabricating shit.
But in any case, I don't know how we can relieve the U.S. because there's so many guns. I watch your stream, your channel daily, and you mentioned yesterday there was a statistic where there's more guns than physical people in the U.S. I think there's like 10 like 10 guns per person. So I honestly don't see the U.S. being totally wiped out of all of their guns because the issue is just too deep. What I see happening for the future, I see things getting a lot worse before it gets better. I see us, going into some RoboCop Demolition Man type future, Judge Dredd, because the pendulum has swung too far. And the last thing I just want to mention about the bullying, I think the Black community really needs to examine themselves because I know the Black community props up, poking at each other, and that's how we.
What I will say about this situation, this is the Hispanic community. The Burrito Gremlins got to take this one.
Right.
He grew up in a Hispanic town. So if he was getting bullied, there was only a small percentage of Blacks who could have been doing that. I'm not saying that they weren't doing it, but majority of the bullies were probably Hispanic.
I like to say something about the bullying thing. When was bullying invented?
Bullying has been around since the days of Cain and Abel.
Yeah.
Okay, so what changed? What changed now that they're so bullied now that we're going to go and shoot up people? What changed?
This is systematic narcissism, and the fact.
So what causes systematic narcissism? Because people have always been.
The reason why it's so elevated now is because of technology. Now information is so widespread. That's a double swinging door.
Are you sure that it's just technology?
It is technology because look at how much children are exposed to nowadays versus.
And who's exposing the children to this technology and this type of violence?
Oh, there it is.
Well, how can we not expose them into the violence? Because
They don't have this. There are lots of ways as parents.
They don't
you
get
can
the
do it.
devices on their own. They don't get these devices on their own. I think parents need to stop being so lax with the social media shit. They letting their kids get an Instagram at 3 years old.
They allow them to be on social media because they don't want to spend time with them. You go to any restaurant, everybody's sitting on their phone. And the point that I'm getting to is we can point at bullying, we can point at guns all we want to. But the fact of the matter is our society has been destroyed because it lacks morality. People that have just as many guns in Norway and other places like that. In Japan, for instance, they have bullying. But you know what they do? They don't go in a classroom full of people and start stabbing them. Very seldom does that happen. They commit suicide. And we can sit around and keep making excuses and talk about mental health and all this stuff. It starts in the home. And ever since in this our society that we've taken away the Judeo-Christian, which the society was built on, and taken the fathers out of the homes, taking religion out of the schools, there is no consequences. And now that we have laws where they don't even go to prison for killing people, there are no consequences.
Okay.
And until we address that,
Yeah, go ahead. Let me get Dante to come in, and then we're gonna go back to Itty Bitty.
Yeah, I guess my only question I was gonna say was, did his grandmother bully him?
He was beefing with his mama. He beefed with his mama about the phone, about the Wi-Fi.
This is about Wi-Fi and cell phone bills.
Right.
Bro, he didn't even go to school last year, they said.
Right.
So
he had a short temper. Maybe he was reflecting on the bullying that he underwent, or maybe he's making the whole shit up.
The problem is this boy didn't have a proper home. His mother was a drug addict, and you look at his grandfather.
She fucking on a
Thank you.
62-year-old nigga.
And not only that, his grandfather was no good either because they produced that monster, which produced this monster. Because the thing about it is, the grandfather, when they asked him whether he had a gun or not, he said, "I can't have one because," and the guy kept trying to ask him why you can't own a weapon. The reason he couldn't own a weapon in Texas is because he's got a criminal history. So this boy has been damaged throughout his whole life. And now this is the repercussions. That's what I'm saying. When people talk about it takes a village to raise a children, yes, it does. Because when you don't do your job as a parent, this is the type of garbage that can go in and kill innocent children. Look what he did.
But once again, here's the thing. If we're gonna go off I believe that this dude was just full of evil. For real. We could say here's the thing. The grandfather ain't never went on no mass shooting. The mother never went on no mass shooting. Yes, they probably did their own things, but this dude did some shit in particular that was specific. You know what I mean? And where he got this, bro, here's the thing. I don't understand what forums are you reading to even come up with this? You know what I mean? This is just a sick person doing a sick thing. You know what I mean? People, it's that's like asking, why do people rape people? Why are there mass rapists? There was mass rapists, in the biblical times. You know what I'm saying? Just because that's what people wanted to do, and they wanted to do that evil. This is what this dude did. We can't. I said the talk of when you said we were going back to the bullying thing. No, not once in any of the reports I've read anywhere has the word bullying even been mentioned. We are putting that out there. We've created that. We created
that old lady in the news conference is the one that said it, and then it just spread all over. Oh, I heard he was being bullied. Fuck all that shit. This nigga was beefing with his mama over. It seemed like he just had a short temper because he was beefing with his mama over the damn Wi-Fi, and then
he wouldn't even talk to dude.
He wouldn't even talk to the boyfriend. I mean, he probably was salty. He was fucking his mom. Let's keep it,
bro. I had a stepdaddy. Bro, I walked in on my stepdaddy crushing my mom one time.
God,
you know what I mean? Bro, it hurts, bro. It hurts. I get that.
Yeah.
But at some point, you know what I mean? Dude, I'm sure the stepdaddy was working. He an old dude. I bet you he paying the bills. I bet you he an old Spanish dude. So I bet you
he had to be providing some type of value. Hopefully,
bro, exactly. So here's this asshole little kid that sit down at the dinner table, eat the man's food, and then get up and walk away. See, the problem is, like you said, it goes back to the parents. The boyfriend probably should have put them hands on him. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Should have been bro, you gonna eat my food and that can say
Should have
thank
put the exactly. And you ain't gonna speak to me, boy. Every time you see me in this motherfucking house, you better speak to me.
Exactly. Like, bro, I remember my mom, real talk. Like, I brought a girlfriend home, like over one time, and the girl was in the house for 3 minutes talking to a guest up front, and didn't come back there to say, "Hey, mom, hey to my mama." My mama told that bitch to get out. Don't ever come back to my house. Like, dude, come on, man. Like, we like, it's like we can't, like, we giving up this kid all these new age excuses that, bro, like, no way. Like, if he would have did this in 1997, what excuse would we say?
All right, hold on. I got my boy Performa in here. Performa 20 in here. He's definitely been showing love on the Super Trap, so we're gonna let him get some words.
Oh, say less.
Yo, what's good? What's good? You hear me?
What's good, famo?
What's going on, man? Yo, I really think it is I agree with the I don't remember who was talking, but about like raising these tablet babies, you know what I mean? I don't know if you've spoken to somebody that was like maybe 18, 20 years old nowadays, and it's like they can't even, like, it's almost as if you startle them when you speak to them, you know what I mean? They're very fragile. I don't think they have anybody to really talk to except for those communities that they have online.
Right.
And
They're not having conversations.
Yeah, like, you know, you got 4chan and shit like that, and you know, a bunch of other places that is just like completely toxic to everybody. And I think they can't really differentiate between real life and online. You know what I mean? It blurs the lines of reality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I think it can like create some type of mental illness, to be honest with you.
Okay. Yeah, no, I feel it. We definitely got to address the mental health issue and the root causes of the mental health. But then we also have to, if we know mental health is an issue, we got to secure the schools. We have to secure the schools.
Definitely, bro. Definitely.
Okay. Anybody else got something on this? Oh, go ahead.
Okay. No, I was saying, from what I was looking at today, you know, there was a lot of red flags before this even happened. There was one report on him. Like he would be in a friend's car. He'd be shooting his BB gun at people in the street and shit like that. Like that type of shit. Like, you know what it is? Like, we're afraid nowadays to judge people because we're afraid of hurting their feelings or whatever. But, you know, I think that judgment is important sometimes because
absolutely,
because you got to feel, you know what I mean? People should be ashamed of some things. And when you don't allow them to be ashamed of their actions, it could escalate into something deadly like we saw today. You know what I mean? He was moving out here crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit was crazy, man.
And there have been several shooters the same way. But Columbine, people reported them to the police. They reported how they heard them smashing glass all night. They were never looked into. The Florida shooter, before he shut up his school, they tried to say he was being bullied, but in reality, he was doing the same thing, fighting people. He did graffiti to neighbors' cars. Like I said, we don't offer any consequences for bad behavior. And then the second thing I like to say is this: with all the resources that are put into public schools and that states get, there are hardly no mental health homes either for these people to be put away in. You cannot force a person to be committed. And my question is, if a person don't know that they're sick, how can you give them the right to make that decision to get healthy?
Yeah, it's just removing a layer of accountability.
Yo, shout out to Nicole for the $6 Cash App. It's greatly appreciated, Nicole. So wherever you are in the ether, shout out to you. But yeah, I mean, I think obviously these motherfuckers are crazy, so we definitely need to address this mental health shit. You know, it is what it is. But what do you guys think about the narrative coming for the Second Amendment? I do have this Joe Biden speech that I did want to bring up because he spoke on it, and this is the speech that he said the Second Amendment is not absolute. So
wait a minute, don't play it. I just ate. I don't want to lose my throw off.
Right. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think this is a legitimate reason to implement some more gun control laws, or do you think gun control laws don't work at all?
They don't work. They don't work. You look at Chicago, New York, DC, all of these places have very strict gun laws. has it stopped anything? And then if let's be honest, if the Democrats really wanted to do something about gun violence, the first place you would start is the people who commit violent offenses using guns. They're letting them out. They're letting them out. And the second thing is they're defunding the police. Police are now, it took them an hour to get there. Imagine how long it took for them to come to a house or a burglary. If you're not going to be here on time,
they're not defunding, they're reimagining policing, right? They're reimagining it.
But I want you to think about this. If you are a woman at home by yourself and a man is breaking into your house and you're there with your children, would you like to be waiting for the police to come, or would you like to have something behind the locked door waiting for him when he comes in? It's up to you. And so there's going to be a point in our society we're going to have to make hard choices. Yes, this is a bad situation. Yes, this is horrible. I feel for the family because I have children. But at the second time, I am not giving up my right to be armed because I cannot depend on our society.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, can I speak on it? Were you done?
Yeah, go ahead, and then we'll get into this video.
All right, yeah, coming from New York, you know what I mean? Like, the district attorney here is like out of his it's just out of his fucking mind.
Right.
You know, like, and I can't even put all the blame on Eric Adams because I think he does want to put people away, but I think that he's competing with the DA. You know what I mean?
And he cozying up to the drill rappers. I don't like that shit. Like, bro, these niggas are fucking. He had a meeting with Fabio Foreign, and Fabio Foreign just got arrested for having an illegal gun.
Yeah, bro. Yo.
So it's like Mayor Eric Adams. You can't serve two masters. Either you're against these niggas or you're with them.
Exactly, man.
Guys, the StreamYard link. I just dropped the StreamYard link again if you want to join. Yeah.
Yo, and just a sidebar. I think it was like 3 days ago. New York just they just passed a new law. It was something. It was more restrictions on the NYPD. So the NYPD has less. They can't subdue suspects. Like, they can't hold them down. They can't like grab anywhere near their torso area.
They can't even approach him because they just had C Blue. He ended up shooting an officer, and they dropped the charges.
Exactly, man. So it's like, what are you gonna do?
Judge. That wasn't even the DA. That was the judge.
Yeah, man. And then, you know what it is? It's almost as if like we can talk about this, right? And it seems like common sense to us, but like what about the people that we elect in the office? Because it's like, if you're taking away if you're taking away less physical contact and, like, you know, hand-to-hand combat type stuff, then they're gonna resort to using their firearm every time. If I'm a cop and I have limited options, you know what I mean, I'm more likely to reach for my weapon and kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that shit is just counterproductive. I think that they know that it's counterproductive. But I also think that they know that the public isn't really going to look into it like that. They're not really going to care. You know what I mean? If you let people commit crimes, you know, that gives you an excuse to place more restrictions on the general population.
Let me say something about this real quick. They know what they're doing, and it's controlled chaos, and they're doing it on purpose. Because let me tell you something. When they felt like they were threatened by these guys during January 6th, what did? They put up a wall, and they brought in the National Guard. Right in D.C., all those gunshots and all those people were getting killed a couple of blocks down, but they had the National Guard protecting them. And I think people need to wake up and stop being a fool. Hold these people accountable and call them out on their BS. If Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and the Democratic Party and all of them are serious about gun control, then tell your security to surrender their weapons.
But what if it just saves one life, though?
They can save many more lives if they were locking the people up.
Hold up. You said what saves one life?
I said, what if all the restrictions that they do, what if it just saves?
Oh, he's being satirical. Okay. I thought he was dead ass. I'm like, shit. One life ain't enough.
Oh, but this thing is like all like gun like this has nothing to do with gun laws. Like that.
Yeah.
This is like okay. Here's the thing: if you made the gun laws, you say, all right, all guns now legal. Who are going to turn the guns in? the same people that bought the guns legally, they go like, all right, gotta go turn them in, gotta do the right
Yeah,
thing.
it's the only
Yeah.
people that are going to be
Yeah.
called upon to do that.
The people who are wearing masks are going to be the ones who turn their guns in. The same people who still wearing the mask are going to be the ones who turn their guns in.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, these are the same people that are okay with killing a 9-month-old baby. But they don't even see it as a living thing. So how can you tell me they're for children?
Right. All right, let's get into this video, see what Biden talking about. Then we'll kind of interject in between. Just mute up, and then when I stop the video, then we can continue the discussion.
Thank you all. Vice President Harris, before we begin, let me say a few words about what happened in Uvalde, Texas, elementary school. Since I spoke last night, the confirmed death toll has tragically climbed, including another teacher and three more students. Jill and I will be traveling to Texas in the coming days to meet with the families and let them know we have just a sense of their pain, and hopefully bring some little comfort to the community in shock, in grief, and in trauma. As a nation, I think we all must be there for them, everyone. And we must ask, when in God's name will we do what needs to be done to, if not completely stop, fundamentally change the amount of the carnage that goes on in this country? To state the obvious, and Corey and a lot of other people here, I'm sick and tired. I'm just sick and tired of what's going on and continues to go on. I spent my career as chairman of the Judiciary Committee and as vice president working for common sense gun reforms. As I said, as a senator and a vice president. While they clearly will not prevent every tragedy, we know certain ones will have significant impact and have no negative impact on the Second Amendment.
All right, so he said common sense gun laws, and then there was a chat that stood out to me that I kind of want to address. Viking 74, I appreciate you getting up in the chat, brother, but I do have to question this. He says if the law was 21 and older, the Buffalo and the Texas shooting would not have happened. And I just want to say, in the streets of Atlanta, in the streets of New York, in the streets of Los Angeles, in Jacksonville, New Orleans, name any major city, the majority of these people who are doing crimes are under 18. Like the little niggas who are doing the carjackings, they 16, 15, 14. So just because you make a law that says, oh, you can't buy a gun at 21 doesn't mean that these kids aren't going to get a hold of it. So although I think that's something that it's not something that I would be totally against, like, oh, raise the age to 21, raise it to the age that you can drink. I'm not against that because, you have to be 21 years old to drink. Well, you should be 21 years old to own a firearm or to buy one. I'm not against that. But to say that it would have stopped these shootings, I don't think so. But what do you guys think? And y'all can unmute.
At 18 years old, you can join the military and fire any weapon you want in the military with this issued to you.
That's true.
So what we're talking about here now?
That's true.
That's perhaps.
Anybody else?
I guess for me personally, think about it. They just raised you can't buy a pack of cigarettes until 21. They changed that law literally a few years ago. So I'm not opposed to raising it to 21. That's not really an issue. I think I would look at joining the army as a totally different thing because you're gonna get a whole different type of training. You get trained before you even get the weapon in your hand. It's a lot more in depth than just going to the store back because that doesn't require any training before buying it.
Well, in terms of what you were saying before, it's talking about gun laws and restricting gun access. It's you're not passing any law is not going to restrict access to people who use guns to commit crimes who aren't like the
Right.
legal registered owner of the gun, which is like
Mhm.
obviously most street gun violence is done by people who aren't like, they don't walk into a gun store and give their ID and go through the background check. No, that's not how they
Right.
got their weapon. So all this talk about restrictions when there's a shooting and stuff is obviously kind of a lot of theater and hot air. It's not really it's like these people, when Joe Biden says like he's sick and tired of what's going on, he knows perfectly well, the people who write his script know perfectly well that his audience, the people that are just going to reflexively believe whatever he says, those people think that what's going on means crazy white supremacists shooting up schools.
Right.
And that's obviously not the case. So it's theatrical. He knows that he's giving his lines to his audience is just going to, he knows what they think this problem is, and that's not what it is.
Right. Yeah. And the crazy thing is, there's like so there were let's see, I think there were like 232 mass shootings so far. Okay, I think it's okay, so I'm looking at this one, it says 213, but I think it's more than that, like 230 or something like that so far. They're conflating mass shootings with school shootings and event shootings. You see what I'm saying? They're trying to make it seem like, oh, there were 232 of these types of mass shootings. And it's like, no, the other mass shootings were, Pookie and Ray Ray pull up on the block and air the block out.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say, I think there's some conflation when it comes to the mass shooting numbers, and I made a video on it as well, and I'll just address it because the FBI, those stats are coming from the FBI. But they couldn't put out the 2021 crime stats, but they got the stats for mass shootings. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely selective. Like they'll say the number when they want the high number to have a psychological effect, but they'll only give a description on those few cases that feed the picture that they're trying to paint, and then they'll expect everybody to conflate the number with the type of incident they described, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, if it's 230 somewhat mass shootings like every day, like how come you're not doing these in-depth investigations like you are into this one every day? How come you're not talking to those families every day? Because it's like I said, it's clearly happening every day. You're not going to talking. You're not seeing. You're not sending out like your head anchor out there. Your head news crew out there to go interview those people. And that's like, and what's the reason for that? So I feel like it's kind of like telling on themselves. Like it just shows that you are handpicked, like nitpicking these ones. And like I said, this one is the worst one, right? Like without like verbatim, but it's like
that Buffalo shit was fucked too. Buffalo shit was fucked too.
But even between these two like really high casualty events, they don't even beat by numbers. They don't even beat the number of shootings that have taken place in the last week that aren't even spoken about.
There was a mass shooting on March 19th in Dumas, Arkansas. I know I think Ock did a video on it. There was a mass shooting where 26 people were shot and one person killed. If more of those people would have died, they would have outpaced all of these other mass shootings.
And they probably still wouldn't have mentioned it, but yes.
Right.
Because it's not about safety, it's about pushing our narrative.
Absolutely.
And these people will continue to beat this until they get their way. And the problem is there is no pushback on the other political side to fight them for what they're doing, to expose them for what they're doing. And that's the reason why we, the people, are caught in the middle. Our rights are being trampled on, whether it be First Amendment, Second Amendment, voting rights, because when you allow people who are not supposed to vote and you trick the machines, that's an infliction of voting rights. Those things are being trampled on, and there is no pushback. And so we have to ask ourselves why, and what is our future for our children going to look like if this continues down the trajectory? Because what's happening is, like I said, they've taken morality out of the schools, they stripped it, now the state controls everything. So now they've reached even into your household, even to your very health. You can't even control the air you breathe. They control your food. They're not even controlling your health care. So what is there left? We are not human beings to them anymore. We're just number 5551122 or whatever number you are. That's all we are to them.
I think about you think about it think about the mental gun control that they already have, where those kids those parents had to stand outside that school and listen to their possible kids and they're getting shot.
Yeah.
And one thing the media will not talk about is that a lot of these kids had a lot of time on their hands and a lot of depression and suicide because of the lockdowns from COVID. They will not talk about that, but that is a major issue to why a lot of these kids are messed up. Imagine. But that's not being talked about.
I think that you make a really good point. What's your name? I'm sorry.
AP listener.
AP listener. I think you make a really good point, especially about the morality. I think that, in my opinion, I think that people need something to believe in. They need a structure, right? So you take away the moral structure, the moral outline that we all had, whether it's Christianity or whatever. I think when you take away those moral bases, you replace it with something. And the replacement for that is government, right? And, you have no, it's like, I think a lot of people just don't have the tools to really tell from right from wrong a lot of times, you know what I mean? And I also think it's an education issue too. People aren't learning about guns. You got to go look for that information. You know what I mean? You don't know, it's a super deep issue, to be honest with you, but I really do think you made a really good point about morality, because I think that's a really big issue. I think that's a really big deal. You know what I mean?
I think people have said it before, that we're not going to see the full ramifications of what the lockdowns did until a few years from now. And now we're in the first year out of it almost, and we got 2 kids that came out and killed multiple people already. These kids, think about it, this kid would have been in high school last year, during COVID. He's missed his prom because of this. He missed sporting events. All of those activities, those school activities that he would have been a part of that could have reduced this from happening, was all taken away from him. And then his goddamn boyfriend, then his mom's boyfriend, want to take the goddamn Wi-Fi from him. Then the grandma want to take his cell phone from him. Bro,
well, I mean, in grandma's defense, he probably went over his minutes. So
and why is grandma raising him anyway?
Right? Why is grandma raising the mother? Exactly. Why did the mother? And see, this is what I got to put. The mother sent a grown ass 18-year-old kid to grandma's crib,
knowing that he's wild.
Exactly. And what he do? He spent some time with her and shot her in the face. Okay, so we got the brother Reese from Philly in the building. We got Reese from Philly. You do have a little feedback, Reese, but I just wanted it. Yeah, you got a little feedback. I just wanted to. It sounds like maybe from your right speaker. Nah, he's sitting. It's coming from the right stereo. But I do want to acknowledge that you're in the building. You got something to say, bro?
This story bothers me a little bit because the left jumped on it in the opportune time and used it to, push policy like they always do. But the flip side, what happens at the end of this is what we need to be worried about, man. Because if I'm not really updated on this executive order, I first saw it when you said something about it, so I haven't looked into it yet. But if it's what I think it is, we got some big problems coming towards us. Because I think that the last 2 years, the events were like a psychological experiment on us to see where we are mentally before they do something bigger to us. You know what I'm saying? And so we already have the most violent year in history in America. And I think they're trying to make it worse. You know what I mean? Yeah. In my opinion, I think they should arm every single citizen. I'm not talking about make it legal to go get guns. I'm talking about give them out to every single citizen in the entire nation. And then you bring back stop and frisk. Only this time you stop and frisk the law-abiding citizens, and if they don't have their pistol on them, they spend the night in jail and pay $1,000 fine.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
This one. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to know what executive order you're referring to. I'm not aware.
Well, it just happened a few hours ago. That's why I don't even know about it yet.
Are they saying that it is are they saying it's in response to the shooting?
Yes, sir.
No, they had it. You know that they had that in the chamber.
Yes,
it's already been in the chamber, locked and loaded.
Yeah, they're just waiting for the event.
It says news about police reform executive order, and this is 2 hours ago. 2 hours ago.
We do have breaking news. Let's see. So President Biden says He says, enough is enough. Biden decrying mass shootings and excessive force, signs executive order on policing. Okay, so this is an executive order on policing. He says, I'm sick and tired of it. Biden said of the rampant gun violence, announcing he'll travel to the Uvalde, Texas campus in the coming days. We must ask when, in God's name, will we do what needs to be done? So it looks like this executive order has to do something with more of policing than anything, from what I'm getting. Yeah, so that was a day ago.
You got to
Let's
do
see, 12
another
hours
stream
ago.
like you did with the manifesto and read through the order.
Yeah, I do. Let's see. Executive order on police reform met with harsh criticism. Yeah, so the one that he just signed was a day ago, and it's about police reform. So it really has nothing to do with mass shootings per se.
Okay.
But I think that they, I'm sure he tried to link both of these things in a speech. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So he tried to say, oh, well, I'm tired of it all, the police violence and the mass shootings and gun violence, but I just signed an executive order to handcuff the police, but nothing specifically toward these mass shootings, which no piece of paper is going to stop these mass shootings. Let's keep it above. The only person who's going to stop these mass shootings is the imaginary resource officer who initially responded and then tucked his tail and took the fuck off. Or he didn't exist. Who knows?
Also, I think this has to do with federal police. I don't think it's about state.
So one thing I like to tell people is this: the devil always tells you what he's going to do. It's just that we just don't listen. And these things they've been talking about for years. And so what I'm telling people is this: go back and look in your history book. When the Fourth Reich came about, they didn't immediately just start taking people to the gas chambers. They used the law of the land to enforce racial hygiene laws. Before even the racial hygiene laws, they started out with the healthcare laws. People who were mentally ill, people who were Down syndrome, people they thought were unfit. They sterilized mixed people, all types of things like that. And the people who came up with these laws, they were not monsters. They were not uneducated. They were highly educated people. And one thing they found out was that doctors were the ones who were SS officers, etc. The reason I bring that up is this:
doctors, anthropologists,
yes, they were highly educated, intelligent people.
Yes.
They were so intelligent that we brought them here to help work on our rocket program. But what I'm saying is this: is that people, please open up your eyes and look at what's going on, because they're gradually, like I said, we are not human to them. They will use whatever they can to bring about the change they want. And there is no pushback. We are on our own. Anytime they can force you to take a shot that they know is harmful, that does not work, and now they want to force it on your children, what else are they capable of?
Okay, think about it like this. So I just looked up, going back to the executive order. It says the ban includes the executive order bans some local agencies from buying 50 caliber weapons, ammunition, grenades, explosives, tracked and armored vehicles.
The police?
Yes.
They're banning the police from. Oh, that's bullshit.
So think about.
But at the same time, they're sending billions to Ukraine, so they can fight and protect our borders.
So they're disarming our security. Like that's the last line of defense. Shit. Damn.
When the Russian army invaded, the Ukrainians handed out rifles and guns to their people so they could stay there and defend their rights.
Right.
So this does not make any sense what they're doing. Come on now, if they take away the guns, they'll do to us like they did in Shanghai.
Which just tells you also, I mean, it's just more proof that regardless of how much they talk about it, you know perfectly well that they're not interested in stopping or mitigating violent street crime, and they do everything they possibly can to increase it as much as possible. And then they disarm everybody else from protecting themselves from it. And then when people do defend themselves, those people get in trouble. I mean, look what happened in the Ahmaud Arbery case. Those people are dying in prison.
Yeah. So let's get back into the video, and then I'll break it. I'll stop it when we come to a breaking point. Just everybody mute up in the background, please.
Second Amendment is not absolute. When it was passed, you couldn't own a cannon. You couldn't own certain kinds of weapons. It's just always been limitations. But guess what? These actions we've taken before, they saved lives. They can do it again. The idea that an 18-year-old can walk into a store and buy weapons of war designed and marketed to kill is, I think, just wrong. It just violates common sense. Even the manufacturer, the inventor of that weapon, thought that as well. You know, where's the backbone? Where's the courage to stand up to a very powerful lobby? But here's one modest step. The federal agency that measures and ensures that gun laws are enforced and the Second Amendment is abided by, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Explosives, the AFT.
Did he say alcohol?
Has not had a Senate confirmation leader for it is abided by. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Explosives.
The alcohol. Oh, hell no. Nah. And it's the ATF, not the AFT, my nigga. Come on.
AFT has not had a Senate confirmation leader for 7 years because of these disputes. For 7 years, been out without anyone in charge. I nominated a supremely qualified former prosecutor who has broad bipartisan support from law enforcement and the community overall. His hearing was held earlier today, I should say. The Senate should confirm and without delay, without excuse, send the nomination to my desk. It's time for action. We're here today for the same purpose, to come together and say enough, to act. We must. Vice President Harris and members of the cabinet, members of the Congress, civil rights leaders, law enforcement officers and officials, distinguished guests, especially the families missing a piece of their soul, including the family sitting in front of me and the beautiful young girl who told me my daddy's going to change history. And he will, honey. He will. They've lost a piece of their soul 2 years ago as well. You know, I know.
All right, that's enough of that. All right, so what do y'all think, man? We'll get some closing thoughts on this.
Yeah, he was lying. Yeah, he was lying.
Somebody eating some potato chips in the background.
Yo, he was definitely lying, man. You could have owned it. You could have owned a cannon, you know. In the exception of the Second Amendment, you could buy military ordnance if you wanted to.
We had privateers. Like we had people with there were privateers that had their own basically naval ships at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
The government will hire, you know, when shit got shaky. So bro, it is completely lies. But the fact is, like, nobody yelled out at him and was like, bro, you're lying. And it's like, that's the, you know, I think it's starting to get to a point, bro. Like, not only are we're beyond the point where they're pissing our leg and calling it rain.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, like, it's like people gotta, it has to come to an end at some point.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's keep revving up, and revving up.
It's almost like that's kind of part of it, where they know that we know that they're lying, and they know that we know that they're just going to do what they want. Yeah, they're going to do what they want anyway.
I don't know, man. I think they know that the majority of the people that they're speaking to believe them, and the people who know that he's bullshitting are too small in numbers to actually make a difference.
Well, they're small in power. They're not necessarily that small in numbers, but they're definitely small in power that they actually have.
I don't know, but I think it depends on where you are. Like I live in Indiana. I live literally in New Albany, Indiana, and it's right across the bridge from Louisville. Like Louisville is 10 minutes away from where Breonna Taylor stuff like that happened. And tell you, even when all that shit happened, I would say the police here, they put a whole police force on the bridge. They're like, keep that bullshit over there. Like, honestly. So it really, everybody I talk to around here, everybody's hip to it. Everybody knows. Like, everybody knows what's going on. And I think, like, when you look at what's going on with the gas prices, everybody's pockets getting hit. Everybody is starting to feel it and see it. And I don't think, like, it's that much of a minority anymore.
It's not a minority, but it's just not the voice of those people is not the voice that's amplified in the media. And that's they make it seem like everybody who knows that they're lying is simply crazy.
Yeah, I think I have that perspective because I live in New York, and the people in Manhattan are probably the most like gullible population in the United States.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. Like they take everything as gospel that comes from the Democratic Party.
Hey, do y'all know about the George Floyd documentary that's coming out?
Oh my God.
Nope.
This is
going to talk about how he invented space travel,
bro. Hey, can I say? I'm saying, yo, this is gonna be terrible. Like, somebody sent me this meme today, bro. It was the funniest thing I've seen. Like, it is so sad, but it was like on this day in history, and it was a picture of like when George Floyd was like laid out, like in the cops on top of him, but then they highlighted the gas price behind him.
Oh my God, no.
It was like
I saw that
189. And it was like, just remember this sad day. And I was like, bro, that's terrible, bro. It was the worst thing. But I was like, but it's all together though. I don't know, man. It just feels like all of this shit is combined, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the thing about it is there are many of us who know, and like you said, there's not enough numbers of us really powerful enough to do anything. And they know this. And they also know that the larger number of the ones, and deep down, they know this is not right. But they're willing to go along with it just in order to keep their level in society, and also willing to go along with it too, because nobody wants to stand out. That's the reason why they came up with these slurs to shame you: homophobic, racist. If you speak on this, that's not true. You're not diversity, equality. Listen to the language they're doing. Listen, and we as older people, we see the BS, what's going on. The problem is the young ones, they're the ones, we're irrelevant, okay? That's why they came up with the shot. They're gonna wipe us out, okay? But our children, that is the most important thing. The minds of our children and the minds of young people. And this is why I say that, as far as the presidency, the federal government, that's gone. Demographic change, we can't fix that. But what we need to focus on is what's going on in our households, what's going on, our kids are being exposed to in the schools, if you go to public schools, or even to private schools, who they are around, what they're watching. Because the next thing is they're trying to take our rights away as parents. And if you don't think they can do it, think again.
It ain't about kids getting killed either, because you can go to Yemen and we're bombing the shit out of them. It ain't
That's
about Ukraine because we're fucking arming the Ukrainians.
No, they don't care about that.
If a U.S. soldier at 18 years old can hold his fucking gun up and shoot a foreigner in the Middle East or the Ukraine, but someone in the U.S. can't buy their own gun, that's fucking bullshit.
They're allowing the trafficking of children across the southern border as we speak. And they know those kids are not being trafficked a lot of times with their parents or with relatives. They're being brought here on the sex trafficking and other things too. But hey, we're for children.
Hey,
right?
Sister, do you know that some of the traffickers have even made videos bragging about what they've been able to get away with?
Oh, yes.
Just remember,
the very thing that Mexico is allowing crossing our border is an act of war. They go into farmers' homes. They're tracking on our property, trafficking drugs. But he has a nerve to talk about gun control and all these things. It doesn't make any sense. And we all know it doesn't make any sense.
Well, don't be surprised if we find out that this kid is here illegally too.
Hold on. So I actually have a story, guys. So the Texas shooter, they're claiming he was bullied, but as per the New York Post, which I know how we feel about the New York Post, but anyways, they say Texas school shooter Salvador Ramos once cut up his face with knives just for fun. And that's what his friends are saying. Okay. That's what his friends are saying. So they're saying he cut up his face with knives. All for fun.
My question is, who's bullying that kid?
That's part of the warning signs I was talking about. That shit is crazy.
They said he mutilated animals too.
Yeah. If a nigga cut his face up, they ain't bullying him.
Fucking with that dude.
You're a grown man in a dress.
I'm
You're a
in
grown man in a
like
dress. That's crazy.
Yeah. Let's watch this video really quick.
Oh, that's fucking creepy as fuck.
So there he goes wearing, I don't know what the fuck this is. He said he reportedly told a teen girl on the app Yubo that he wanted his name out there. Egging to the subject of don't F with cats, hunting an internet killer. Here's the video though. It'll probably be taken down. So I guess that's when he was one boy, two kittens.
It was the worst video I've ever seen.
What the fuck is that? They got a Netflix ticket?
No, that's a documentary actually. Don't F
that's
with
an
cats.
actual
Yeah.
documentary. Oh, so they were comparing it. Oh, okay. He once cut up his face with knives just for fun, the friend told the Washington Post.
The warning signs were there and no one did shit. This ain't on anybody but the parents and the teachers.
The whole community. Everybody.
Police. He also used to drive around with another pal and shoot people at random with a BB gun. Man, that bullying shit dead.
Yeah, bro.
No, they're just gonna say that. That's just some shit that they try to, they try to obfuscate by saying bullying, blah blah. But I hate to be that guy, but I mean, at what point do we say that there's a pattern? If this guy was exhibiting these behaviors, and you said that they were reported to authorities, right? Somebody reported, right? Somebody said that. So how many times are we going to see a young person exhibiting these crazy violent behaviors? They get reported, they show up on the radar of maybe a federal law enforcement agency, and then they don't do anything, and then some shit winds up happening.
But you think about it. His mother said he never showed any violent tendencies.
Right.
She said he was
say
a sweet
that.
boy.
She full of shit.
She was a junkie, so how would she know?
Well, I mean, if you watch like Black Gen Z and Ox channel, it's like how many mothers come on TV after their kids did some crazy shit and said he was a nice kid and he never blah blah. I mean, you can't really put too much weight on that, I guess.
Yep. That shit true.
And the shooter always dies too. We never get to hear the shooter's side of the story. You know what I mean?
It's crazy because this generation of kids is the ones that have been medicated the most. They've been on social media the most. They are the ones that commit to suicide the most. They're the fucking craziest. I mean, and they're coddled, man. It's weak people.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm 29, but I be seeing these 18s like, bro. I'm one of those dudes. I be seeing these young dudes walking down the street. I'm across the street, bro. I ain't gonna lie. They make me nervous. I don't trust them. You know what I mean? Like,
well, a lot of them you look at, you don't even know if they're male or female.
Yeah,
I have never seen so many young boys who are flabby, they're overweight, they're soft. They're soft.
Hey, no offense.
And that's why they have this overlit aggression.
No offense to the brother that was
skinny
just
as
talking.
fuck.
But the brother that was just talking, I'm scared of niggas that are 29.
See, it's just a cycle. It's just a cycle.
Well, this is the thing.
This is 49-year-old niggas is scared of 39 and 50.
Yeah, right. This is the thing, though. It's like young people are very susceptible to signals that they get from people that they see as in positions of authority as to what is going to give them status in their group. And so when they talk about like expressing masculinity is low status, it's problematic. So boys, in order to fit in, will be more feminine if that's what they're told is, that's what they have to do in order to get approval. And so all these things, there's all these manipulative factors. And then, you two were talking about one lady was talking about the problems with technology, and then you were talking about the problems with morality. I mean, to me, it's kind of, these things are connected because there's all these factors. And somebody brought up the pandemic. There's all these factors artificially injected into society that wedge people further and further apart, that make our social environment more and more artificial and disconnected. And it's basically a psychological torture chamber, putting pressure on people and causing shit to happen. And then the system that applies those pressures can then guide where the explosive energy goes when people can't hold it in anymore, by shaping the narrative that guide people's behavior.
I agree with you 100%, man. That's why I said earlier, I think they tested us mentally to see how we would react, to see what else they could get away with it. Like now, by now they should know they can pretty much do whatever they want.
Right, just like she was saying, at the point where their incursions go past your skin, where they can soup you up mentally to the point where you will leap at the opportunity to get the system to put some shit in your body. It's like think about it. Shows them the power that they have.
Okay, let's get into this article real quick. It says Texas shooter struggled with mental health, family dysfunction, and was fascinated with guns. The nation experienced one of the deadliest mass shootings this week, allegedly perpetrated by a disaffected youth who was plagued by family dysfunction and mental health struggles. Salvador Rolando Ramos, 18, was said to be a high school dropout fascinated with guns. After turning 18, Ramos immediately bought a rifle, which he later used to murder at least 21 people, 19 of which were elementary age school children, according to the Washington Post. Former friends and family of Ramos said he stopped showing up to school after the pandemic, adding that Ramos experienced bullying for his lisp and for sometimes wearing makeup. Okay, classmates noted that after see, that's the fucked up part. You bait these kids into thinking that they're cross-dressing is cool and shit like that. Then they go to school and they getting bullied. Same thing with OnlyFans. The women are doing OnlyFans, and then their kids peers find out they're doing OnlyFans. Now they're getting bullied. So a lot of these things are society based, where you're trying to make it seem like it's okay for young men to dress this way and do this thing and act feminine, and then when they go and do it in real life, everybody clowning them, because that's not reality.
Yeah, bullying is nature's way of keeping people normal.
I want y'all to take a ride with me, right? We're in a DeLorean with a flux capacitor and 1.21 gigawatts, and we're going to go back to 1975. Do you know how hard it was to get your hands on bullshit if you were a kid? You couldn't find bullshit, porn, and dumb arguments and gender wars on social media and all this dumb. Our parents hid the news from us.
But in the 80s, a lot of men were dressing like bitches.
Nah, I wouldn't.
80s, it was more like fat laces, Pumas, Kangol.
Boy George,
but I think it was
leather pants.
I think that was.
That was very fringe.
Different. They wasn't like saying that they were women, or like it wasn't like they were just like they was. I feel like they was trying to style on everybody. They was trying.
That was mostly California and New York anyway, where they.
Yeah,
took
you're
that
right.
to
You're right. Fucking Cali.
Yeah, California's different. When I was in California in the 80s, I saw guys 250 pounds solid muscle with leotards on, roller skating. I'm not even making this up. Long hair, crazy stuff, man.
Seriously though, if your brain's not developed till you're 25 and you're pumping kids full of fucking all these meds for like Ritalin and whatnot, because not a day goes by my friends are like, he just is acting up. I'm like, dude, he's a kid. You got him in a class fucking 8 hours a day in a seat. What the fuck do you expect? Take him out and play with him.
Oh,
and this is what I say about parents. You have to be able to get in the head of these kids and also be aware of what they're doing, because there's so many ways for them to sneak stuff into our kids. And then think about the kids, the other children that they hang around with. These are the things that we as parents, our job is 24/7. And the problem is there are a lot of people who are parents who are tired. And now granted, people work long hours, but still, they are your flesh and blood. They are your responsibility first. And I look at these parents, and what breaks my heart is these are little children who never even got a chance to grow up and be anything. And they're gone. They're gone. taken out by one 18-year-old freak. And the thing, and
Shout out to
that
Lucky
they
Number
keep
7
talking.
with the $10 super trap. Shout out to Lucky Number 7 with the $10 super trap. We checking the sound. We checking the sound.
And they keep talking about gun laws and all these other things. Nobody is talking about the loss of life for those children and what their parents are going through, and how other things that people can do to prevent this, you know. But it's just, I don't know. I don't see an end to this. I really think it's going to get, I agree with someone else said, it's going to get a lot worse.
Hey, Gen Z, did you grow up with guns in your house?
No, I didn't.
Oh, gotcha. I was gonna say, because when I grew up, if you touched the gun, my dad would whoop the fucking shit out of me for it.
My dad would get mad if you asked about it.
You gotta beat it. You gotta beat it.
My dad
Posing with
wasn't there.
pistols and shit.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something, yo. There's only one thing that could possibly turn this all around seriously, and that's for like the entire information world to change and turn over on a dime, and that's not even plausible. So we're looking at like no hope at all.
No,
The only thing that's in front of us is preparation for what's to come. Because if you can't figure out by now that this is not going to change or this is not going to get better or change or any of that. This started in the 90s, the late 80s, and it got worse progressively.
Somebody got some screaming in the background.
Yeah, it sounds like a murder being committed.
Yeah, just mute up if you ain't talking.
It's a dog.
Oh, shit, I think that's my neighbor's dog. Hold on, let me get it.
Oh, okay.
That's what I would have said too.
Yeah,
we might be witnessing a murder.
Right. Let's keep reading this article. Classmates noted that after Ramos stopped showing up to school, his larger, stocky figure had dwindled to a skinny, fragile one. They said, I think he just didn't feel comfortable anymore at school. His cousin Mia told the Post. Ramos was described by former classmates and friends as initially being nice, quiet, and shy. But when that changed, several of Ramos' friends indicated they backed away from their friendship with him. Santos Valdez Jr., one of Ramos' early childhood friends, told the Post he lost touch when Ramos' behavior started to deteriorate. One time when the two met up at a park where they used to play basketball, Ramos showed up with cuts all over his face. When he asked Valdez, or when asked by Valdez where the cuts came from, Ramos initially said a cat had scratched him. Then he told me the truth, that he'd cut up his own face and with knives and over and over and over, Valdez said, indicating Ramos eventually told him he did it for fun. Shout out to Serbian Sun Devil with the $50 super trap.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
Serbian Sun Devil is definitely outside with the $50 super trap. I appreciate that, brother. But and then he said Valdez also recalled to the Post that Ramos used to shoot random people with a BB gun and egg cars. Ramos frequently got into fist fights at school as well. One of his classmates said prior to turning 18, Ramos would post photos online of firearms that were on his wish list. According to Valdez, once Ramos obtained his own guns, he started posting pictures of them on social media. All the while, Ramos' family life was also reportedly crumbling, much like his social life. 2 months ago, Ramos posted an Instagram story video in which he could be heard screaming at his mother, who had a substance abuse problem, according to the Post. He posted videos on Instagram where the cops were there, and he'd call his mom a B and say she wanted to kick him out, said a classmate of Ramos who saw the video. He'd be screaming and talking to his mom really aggressively. According to neighbors who spoke with the Post, it was not uncommon to see the police at Ramos' house. I think he needed mental help and more closure with his family and love, said Steven Garcia, who considered himself Ramos' best friend in middle school.
There were a lot of people that knew about this.
Yep.
Ramos
that's what that told me. That's what that told me.
So is this a case where a community program would actually work, or nah?
A community, community would work.
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna mend that.
We don't have that.
Is he? once you get to the point of calling your mama a bitch, y'all ain't making up.
Yeah, it's over after that. Yeah,
society is done. We don't
I want to
have
say
a,
something
we
too.
don't have a
Is I
cohesive
think
society.
that this kid has been abused his whole life, and his mother running the streets with different men, probably substance abuse problem, probably who knows what kind of home life. And like I said, I'm not making excuses, but we have to look at people. A lot of these people who are parents who really should not be parents. And this, the thing I think that would have saved him is if he had other family members, more cohesive family structure. Because it used to be the day if her mother was in a situation and she couldn't take care of the children, then the grandparents would step in. But there was somebody, aunt, uncle, someone in the household that was cohesive where they could have an established background. I don't think this kid even had a decent home life, period.
Yeah.
Yo, that's an interesting point that you bring up.
Hold on. He was calling his mama a bitch in front of Big Stepdaddy, and Stepdaddy ain't do shit.
Damn.
Yeah.
Imagine being the stepdaddy.
Because he had no respect for her.
Right.
She was never a mother to him. So she saw her just as another bitch on the street. Because
Hey,
that's
listen,
what she
y'all.
was.
I'm from the shit, y'all, and people who have parents that are fiends, they don't respect their parents at all. They're usually like the man of the house or the woman of the house or something. They actually take over the adult role. Sometimes as young as 12 and 13. I'm not even bullshitting y'all, yo.
Yeah.
I'm telling you
Shout out
straight
to
from
Cyrus.
inside the shit.
Right. Shout out to Cyrus Cherry with the $2 super trap. He says, violent crime and abortion equal population crisis. Ask Japan.
Oh, say less.
Okay.
Well, I just want to ask a question.
Yeah.
To AP. So that's an interesting point you bring out about, some people just shouldn't be parents, right? So my pops, right? He actually made a point one day. He said, yo, he thinks that if you see like a couple come in and they're, having a baby or whatever, he said, sometimes you could tell like there might be something wrong or, there might be some signs that are wrong. He thinks that there should be a psychological test before, like after you deliver your baby, there should be some type of program where you verify that this person is okay and fit to be a parent beforehand instead of just letting them leave the hospital. I just want to know what the chat's thoughts on that is.
I mean that's pretty utopian. I mean that suggests a society that actually works for the health of its members. We've pretty far gone from that.
And if we had that type of thing, then who's going to fill our jails and our prisons? How are we going to get money from the federal government for our welfare programs and for all our so-called mental health programs? See, the whole thing is all interconnected.
Yeah.
And I hate to sound like a conspiracy person, but I have to look at this and say, you have a woman who's a drug addict, and you allow her to keep her child. Are you kidding me?
Well, you know what? I come from an old man who's a meth head. My mother was sexually abused from the time she was 6. My father raped my sister. I was abused as a child sexually. And I was the product of people who gave a fuck enough about me that weren't even related to me that pulled me out of that shit. And there's not enough people who care anymore for someone else's kids. They got their own problems.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about how human societies have naturally evolved, and maybe we're just in a period of decline where we just can't have nice things anymore, but there was a very long time when people built societies around the needs and capacities of the people in them. And so how that seems to work is that the people need to work together in order to do the things you need to do to survive. You have to thresh the wheat, you have to stomp the grapes, and you also participate in the cultural life, not just the physical life, but the cultural life of the society. And the society expects every one of its members, according to your station, according to if you're a man or a woman, according to if you're young and old, to show up as, the best version of what you are to help to maintain the society to the extent of your capacities. And that causes families to raise their kids in such a way, it imposes a a level of responsibility and accountability onto families and households, they're going to raise their children in such a way as to show up with conscientiousness, with respect, with pro-social traits, in order to enter into society as capable of fulfilling those roles. But when you don't have the pressure coming from society around you to do that, because I mean, look at what society means for us today. Like, people in a neighborhood, like, you don't have to know what's going on next door, because what displaces culture is consumerism. So everybody is just like, it's up to you what kind of cereal you buy. It's up to you what kind of beer you like. It's up to you what kind of sports team you like. It's up to you what kind of weird sex you're into. It's up to everybody what they want to consume and enjoy. And there's no deeper cohesive element that ties people together toward a common goal. And that just causes, it allows for a lot of corruption in the institutions that govern society.
Village died 100 years ago. The village went away. It's gone.
It's been gone. And like the lady said about technology, this is how it ties in. It's like people are less and less connected to each other and more connected to artificial things that are controlled by people who don't have your best interests in mind.
I say it all the time. We got 500 ways to communicate, and no one's communicating.
Absolutely.
Hey, the real death of the village was in the 70s, y'all. You heard me? The real death of the village was in the 70s. I witnessed it myself.
No. The real death of the village occurred in the 1960s. And the reason I say that is this. I love the baby, they call them the greatest generation, the ones that survived World War II and the Depression. I love them. My grandparents, great-grandparents, they're from that generation. They failed us. And the reason I say they failed us was this. When they raised their children, they gave them too much. 1960s, you had the hippie generation. You had the influx, a lot of our into the public education of Marxism mentality. You had all of those things come in because they were not used to struggle. The thing, in order for humans to survive, we have to constantly struggle. May not be hardship all the time, but we always have to remember that what we have is not given to us. We have to earn it. And what happens is our great-grandparents, and from the 30s to 20s, they worked hard. They earned what they had. They gave their children the cars, the homes. Remember that time, the 1950s, 1960s, America was in a great economic boom. This is after the war. We got too lazy. And so what happened is we allow the moral decay to come into our society. And we're paying the price for that. Because those same hippies had children. And now they have grandchildren. And now their grandchildren are the ones that are coming up now. They are the ones in power now. That is the thing. When the state comes in and is able to, and not just the rich kids, poor kids too.
The rich kids take those positions of power though, like the Kennedys and the Clintons. You see them, and they keep, like, Pelosi's related to fucking Newsom, and these people just keep getting in positions of power. And the only people that actually know anything are the poor folks.
And you know what, y'all? There was still a little bit of remnants of the village left in the 70s, but it did start dying in the 60s. But in the 70s, you were still able to walk into your neighbor's house. The door would be unlocked. But they weren't afraid.
But brother,
and stuff
I have
like
to
that.
disagree
Like,
with
you
you.
got in trouble with the mailman. The mailman would scold you. People you didn't even know would scold you. So there was like a collective thing going on in the neighborhood. Right, what you said, 60s.
But remember, in the 1970s, a lot of those black exploitation movies came out. The Superfly movies, showing black women as being whores, the black men as being pimps. A lot of the, I call them the hate whitey movies came out, and instead of building off the fact of I'm black and I'm proud and, the civil rights movement and keeping that type of mentality, we start slipping. The junkie, people try to make like the 1990s was a crack age. Yes, it was a crack age, but you know what? Our problems started way before the 1970s. When he starts showing the drug addict and the pimp and all those people. And instead of the older people at that time stepping up saying, hey, this is wrong, we went along with it because it was finances.
I'm sorry. Our celebrities were doing crazy shit back then too. They were on drugs and divorcing each other and beating each other, the same as they are now.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing.
You outsource all the jobs.
And I just want to say, good night, guys. I gotta hop off the stream, but
Take care.
shout out
Yeah.
to Jen Quavius. You know what I mean, for bringing us all together. You know what I mean. Strong supporter, man. I love your content. And just keep doing what you gotta do, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah. On that note, we are gonna take closing thoughts. So I'll let AP, Fabian, Reese, and then some dude. We'll take closing thoughts, and then we'll go ahead and get up out here. This has been a great stream, guys. I do want to remind you that we do have a Discord, which is going to be in the link in the chat. We got Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Odyssey. We've got BitChute. We've got the Discord that we can continue the conversation on, or you can put it in the comments as well. We also have the Patreon, which is $9.99, which I'll be uploading all of my videos that I ever posted on YouTube onto the Patreon, even from my other channels. So just make sure you guys stay cognizant of that. And then we also have the merch. All right. So we do have the BGZM News 17 t-shirts that you guys can go check out. $30 t-shirts. They're really high quality. I got white, black, and red. So you can go ahead and cop a BGZM News 17 t-shirt if you support me. Then we'll start, once we start getting this on the roll and start getting this on the ball, then we'll start bringing in the Demon Time t-shirts, the Super Gremlin t-shirts, and all that shit. Glider Gremlin, all that. We got Burrito. We'll have Burrito Gremlin t-shirts and all that shit. So closing thoughts, AP, and then Fabian, Reese from Philly, then some dude.
Oh, I was just want to say thanks for having this open forum. Thank you, and both of you guys are one of the few ones that really have a really good channel that's talking about a lot of the current events and things that's happening. All I can say is that if you have children, look at them as the most precious thing that you have. They are you, an extension of you. They're an extension of your family. And for those young men who are looking to start families, be very careful of who you procreate with. That's the only thing I can say. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know what's going to happen in the next few years, but I don't think it's going to be good. And so if you have a close circle of friends or like-minded people, those are the people you count on. That's all I have to say. Yep.
All right. Yeah, definitely be careful of who y'all laying down with and reproducing with, because it's getting tough out here. Slim pickings. So appreciate you, AP. We're going to go ahead and remove you. Fabian, what's good? What are your last thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I just want to echo, I think it's really great that you guys are having these forums for people to kind of come together and speak. Hopefully it lasts and hopefully it gets bigger. To add to what AP Listener was saying, in making sure that your household is in order and your family is healthy and aware, I hope that people can take that energy and take that awareness and take that health and spread it into their local communities and connect with like-minded people in real life, and even people who are maybe somewhat like-minded, and build community in real life to try to erect something of a shield against some of these processes that are ongoing. I don't know if they're inevitable cycles of civilization that people talk about, of growth and decay and stuff like that, or if we are being called upon and challenged to see the difference between, I guess, what you could crudely just call good and evil, and use our capacities to do what we can to stifle the flow. But I think that you guys, you yourself, and also Ak Nation and whoever else is doing similar things are very helpful in that regard. So I appreciate that.
Yes. Appreciate you, Fabian, for supporting the stream and joining the panel. I appreciate you. Have a good night, brother. Have a good night. All right. So that's Fabian. Reese from Philly. Closing thoughts.
All right, man. I really dig how you and Ak, y'all dissect that fake narrative that they put out here to try to create chaos. It's a shame that it isn't like thousands of YouTubers and people all over social media over the world in place to do the same thing. If there were, we might have prevented a lot of chaos and riots and everything. But, I see y'all got that stick-to-itiveness that we used to say that all the time. One of the basketball announcers, right? Stick-to-itiveness. Y'all stay to it. That's why I bang with y'all, man. I'm here for the duration, too. You dig? So you're going to see me again real soon.
Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate that. That was Reese from Philly. Hey, stay safe in them Philly streets. I know them super gremlins out there are on demon time. So I appreciate you.
We are the kings of hell right now. All right, Joe.
Hell yeah. All right, brother. Stay safe. Stay safe. All right, and some dude with the last point. We got some dude. So go ahead, bro. Closing thoughts.
I'll just say, you got a death penalty. Use it for mass shooters.
Yes.
If they get killed, sorry, but the parents are held accountable. And I was radicalized by Sunman on YouTube. Go Buckeyes! National championship. Have a good night, bro.
I can't get behind them with the Buckeyes thing, but go Dogs, go Dogs. But anyways, we definitely need to start speeding up this the death penalty process. Also, we can't support movements that Kim Kardashian is pushing to free niggas like Julius Jones and all these other type of motherfuckers who did that shit. Okay, they did that shit. There's no doubt about it. So much evidence against those guys, and we got hoes like Kim Kardashian who are trying to advocate for these niggas' freedom. So anyways, you already know what it is. The links are in the description box below. We do have some BGZM News 17 t-shirts. So make sure you go out there and support the channel. Like the video, share the video, comment on the video after. And we are going to send it off to Janquavius so we can continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Medgar Evers, and it's a very tranquil scene compared to just a couple hours ago where a drive-by shooting just took place. Excuse me, I'm getting live updates as we speak. I've just been updated to the amount of casualties from this drive-by shooting, and I'm getting reports that 2 people were actually declared deceased and 27 others were shot and injured but are in stable condition. And although we must pray for the families of the fallen, we must also praise God for the aim of the super gremlin. If you want to know more about the victims of this crime, make sure you add BGZM News 17 on Patreon at www.patreon.com/blackgenzmindset. Also, don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment on the video to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. For more hard-hitting news coverage from the community, by the community, I'm Janquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
And cut. All right, dogs. Let's get the out of here before these niggas come back. Whoa. Yo! Whoa. Ain't that nigga J? Nah, that ain't me. That ain't me. He just went live. That ain't me. Funky ass that's that nigga. That's not me. Hey, get that nigga. Janquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia. Pray for me.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot. By the police. Why I get shot anyway?
So it is what it is.